Well, unfortunately, guys, you just missed me kicking a cold one with the boys here, but welcome to the Thursday night edition of where we record what happened in the week of Juve, whether it was good, mostly bad, unfortunately. And we're going to break it down. We'll break down some Benfica. We'll probably break down some potential transfers that might be happening around the hour now. Obviously, we'll make the more professional tactical video for it in the coming days once the move gets confirmed and whatnot. And I think, we might sprinkle some after dark discussions once we get through the main meat and potatoes of this discussion here. But here to break down Benfica and our first official losing streak of the season. Your cherry's been popped. We've got David and Dave. How are you guys?
All right, I'm alive. Coming off a work trip. Excuse my droopy face.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I feel a lot like Dash right now.
Yeah, minus the headboard.
Oh man, and German Dave, how you doing?
Cracking open a warm one. No,
he's got.
Yeah, we're drinking teas. You're drinking cola. We're not drinking anything good.
No, nothing good.
Yeah, I guess now that we lost our first game, like we opened the floodgate.
May as well. I mean, we said it. We said it was coming. That we kind of needed it to maybe shake things up.
And we didn't. We didn't shake anything up.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, all things considered, whatever, Champions League table, maybe it worked out better for us to just lose this one. It did. The game didn't really matter.
It's okay, overall. Guys. We played really well.
Did we? What?
Oh, I was being sarcastic.
Okay, so just to be fair, I'm going to let German Dave and Dash take most of this discussion. This was the first game this season I missed. I was on that work trip. I caught like 5 minutes of the first half right at the end. And honestly, that was enough. It really was enough to kind of give me the picture of what happened in this game. I did watch the extended highlights on DAZN, the 15-minute one. So I have a general idea. But Dave and Dash, you take this one away.
I watched highlights as well. I was working.
I know it's just like okay. Yeah, all right, cool. Did Dusan play today or yesterday? Because that was the question that I had. I saw him on the team sheet, but I did not see him on the pitch.
He had 5 shots.
Really?
5 shots.
Wow. Okay, then obviously episode over. We did our Dusan joke of the week. It's contractually obligated. I'm sorry, people. But this game, and I'm gonna try to say this stoically without laughing. We got a leg read this game. Literally got a leg read this match. You want to know why? Because that team had 33% possession and had an expected goals of 2.5.
It was actually quite crazy how many just open chances that they did have that game. It could have been a blown out, honestly.
You want to know how many big chances they missed? 6. 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, the only reason why we were in that game was betting.
Yeah, he always comes up huge.
And this was like one of those games where like I actually had like buffers of time where I could attentively watch, and I was attentively watching it, and I was just like, ugh. Like it was just cringeworthy. It was embarrassing, honestly. Like I still can't believe that's a product that we put out there. And like, for example, the fact that Gatti still, well, I mean, obviously there's no other center backs, but that first goal, I'm like, dude. Like, are you a center back or are you just admiring Frankie's new tattoos at this point? Because I don't even know where the hell Gatti was looking for that. How the hell, with your height, you get beat over the top? That to me was just blasphemy.
It's IQ. It's a bit of IQ. It's a bit of, I'm going to say, fatigue. It's probably a bit coaching instructions, trying to press up and get into the play.
So this is where, because like I was reading Discord and Goosey was doing Goosey things, and I was getting a little bit annoyed with Goosey. Here's the thing with this is like, oh, it's the player's fault. The problem is your managers should be recognizing that, okay, this isn't working for my players. I need to do something to put the pressure off or rotate something or adjust something. For me, it looks like, and just based off of how the players played, that Malta just left these guys out to die, essentially. And these guys are just like, I'm here just so I get paid. Like, that's where, like, for example, you hear like the comments that like Primo makes about like mercenaries, foreign mercenaries, and yada yada yada. And I do agree with that to an extent, because you look at the lethargy that these players present on the field, and it's just like most of these guys are like, I'm here to make my wage and go home, and I don't care. Like, you might get an exception like Conceição or Perin or something like that, or
McKenny.
Locatelli, and whatnot. Like, that might be, again, like the only factor of like, I actually care for my job, because I look at it, and especially Dusan, Mr. I'm the leader. I'm this super cool guy. Yeah, dude, when your entire squad was going to the Ultras to get booed, your bitch ass went into the locker room because you're a pansy.
Yeah, him and Douglas Luiz. So when we're talking about foreign mercenaries, if we are to use that term, that to me is a prime example of it.
Yeah,
I don't. To be honest with you, I really could care less about Douglas Luiz because he's only been here for X amount of months. But like, for example,
but still, look,
I'm not defending him. I'm not defending him.
No, I think out of us three, I was the most excited about the transfer, because I said if he's coming into the system and we play him like properly in his position, which ironically is Locatelli's position, but Locatelli is playing incredibly well. I said he will be one of Serie A's best midfielders. So far, he showed shit. Now you can say, all right, it was due to the injury, due to him being robbed and everything. But now he had couple, like, what is it, 1.5 month where he is fit and where he could have been available. But he's still like, it seems like in practice, number one, he didn't convince to get any big starting minutes, and when he starts and when he gets minutes, he's just plays like trash. He just plays like trash, misplacing passes, losing a lot of balls that are leading into direct counterattacks, because he's losing them in the midfield area where his
you know where his balls went. They're in Alicia Lehman's purse.
Yeah, but they were at Aston Villa, and he was great at Aston Villa.
I have a theory that he just came like that. That was the dirty tactic that Gentoli pulled off. It's like, okay, we want Dougie. He's on the fence about it. Okay, let's poach Alicia, and that will convince him, and now that's why he's here. But now, because that's the reason, he's like, I don't really give a fuck. I'm here for the misses. I'm getting my tail.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Look, I mean, now what? Sorry, before I started my story with him being the most convinced about him. Number one, he hasn't shown me anything. Number two, Motta plays him out of position, and number three, like, he doesn't seem like he cares. And
he plays everyone out of position though at this point.
Yeah. But I have my thoughts on that as well. But first, Douglas Luiz. And the worst thing for a player is to seem uninterested, to just not look bothered. He always had this smile, whether they are losing or whether they are winning or whether he played or not on the bench. He's always having that smile. It's just, it looks to me like his check is coming like weekly, so he's fine.
You know, he's gonna be in Santos with Neymar in a couple of years,
Arthur.
and maybe Arthur.
Yeah. And I hate that attitude, and that's why honestly, if an offer comes in, goodbye. And I was the one that said for the longest, hey, let's keep him, let's see what he can do. He's a great player. But now, dude, he doesn't care. Why should I care about him? So
at this point, if say City come in the next couple days and offer anything that'll remotely break us even, sure, do it. I mean, yeah, all the pundits are out there saying, nah, man, this guy's a flop. All the YouTubers, dude, just get rid of him while you can. Don't turn him into Arthur, essentially, because we'll talk about it. But Arthur's still around, and that's an issue.
You know, and part of me wonders too, like the way that Danilo was treated. I wonder if that also plays into a factor with him as well. Just
No,
because
Brazilians, yeah.
Brazilians being compatriots and whatnot, but because consensus, like on the consensus of what I've seen on the reports and everything,
But there she played trash before that happened with Danilo.
that's also
But maybe that was already in the background. We don't know when that really started.
We don't know what's going on in the locker room.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like I said, I don't want to defend him. I'm not defending him out of it because, like, again, as I'm stating here, arguably, or if not, the consensus of what I've seen on the internet and on all the papers and reporting is Dusan and Luis were the two worst players on the pitch. And I can definitely agree with Dusan because I forgot he played. And that's not even me being quirky or being corny or being an asshole. Like, I legitimately forgot that he played. And I'm sure, and here's a better question to you two on the highlights. Did you even see Dusan on him?
No.
I think they showed 1 or 2 shots, but that's it.
That's it.
There wasn't much. There was I can't remember, and I watched it a couple hours ago.
Yeah, and that's for me, and like I'm gonna keep it brief because it's a dead horse at this point. But like, for example, for the amount of stuff he has said and how he's opened his mouth about being this and being that, when you can't face the accountability of your paying customers for the absolute garbage service that you've provided, you have lost all respect as a dude for me, as a man for me.
He probably doesn't see it that way, and that's the problem, is that he can't self-reflect.
That's his problem. Again, self-awareness. Unfortunately, if you want to have a good career, you're going to need to do that. But the fact that, again, all of that chirping, all of that hullabaloo, all that corny Instagram posting, and then you lay a goose egg, and then, no pun intended, goosey, but you then proceed to, again, dip on the fans after, again, I'm a leader, I'm a guy of stature, and I'm a man of culture. No, he's not. But when you do that, especially at your home crowd, away crowd, it's okay. But like at your home stadium, you just walk straight to the locker room.
Yeah,
And
it's just trash.
And then you wonder why Kolo Mugnani is going to probably bench you against Empoli this weekend.
Oh, he will. 100% he
100%.
will. And we'll talk a bit about Empoli too, but Kolo is coming for this one.
Yeah, it's I look at that and I just look at this match, and for me, it's like, okay, so like, remember, I think it was on the call-in show, or was it the call-in show or another recording where, what if he's just going all in for the Champions League? Oh yes, and Sal's like, yeah, not after what we saw against Bruges.
And then
this.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's not it.
It's getting to the point. Go ahead, Dave.
That argument doesn't mean anything to me. It wasn't just on the call-in show. I read that in comments. Yeah, he's saving the energy for the Champions League. He wants to go a bit up there in the spots to get us a more favorable draw and stuff like that. And in the end, we play in Serie A like shit. We played in the Supercopa like shit. We play in the Champions League like shit.
But only shit for half of the game.
The part that matters. We played like shit for the part that matters.
Yeah.
Dude, we had games where we looked trash the whole game.
But like even this game, the second half, the numbers were very positive for Juve. But
numbers don't mean anything if you're not getting the points or if you don't win.
Well, because if you start conceding now, you're always on the back foot. Exactly. And we can't play on the back foot.
The other thing too is playing well isn't justifiable for the results. Oh, we played well. Oh, we played well. Oh, we're playing well.
Give me the result, then we'll talk about well.
Then we can talk about how the aesthetics. Right now, the bare minimal, because like, for example, you want to know why. And if anyone calls me an Allegriano, you can blow me for all I care. 2 IQ buffoon. But the reason, you want to know the reason why people were bitching about Max's style, the way that he was winning?
We only win 1-0.
Because there was a result.
With a weak team.
There was a result you can then bitch about. Like, that's honestly what it is. You won 1-0. You scraped by with a Bremer header in the 94th minute. It's ugly. We took 3 points, but holy hell, it's ugly and not sustainable.
And we didn't concede, man. We didn't concede.
No. And what we're doing right now is there's no result. Oh, we played well. Great. Did you win? Did you get anything out of it? No, but we played well. Sorry, participation trophies don't work. They don't. And that's where I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, and it's just like, if you've been winning for a while and you're kind of getting stale on the way that you're winning, fair enough. You can bitch about it because you have the right to do so because, again, you have gotten the results for it. You have the results to back you up on the CV.
It'd be like Man City this year, right? Not a great year. They're used to winning. Okay, you guys can do better. What the hell? Now they're starting to pick it up,
Real
right?
Madrid, like Real Madrid. It's like, hey, man, started the season kind of shitty, but, at the end of the day, they turn up. But
And now all of a sudden they lead La Liga. They destroyed the competition in the past couple of Champions League game, and
Because tight-knit teams, proper teams, will find a way through all their low points. They will find a way to climb out and continue on and find their form. We never found any form in the first place.
that's why, and to be honest with you, and this might be an unpopular take, but I think winning that Supercopa would have been critical. Like it would have been crucial. I think so. It was such a missed opportunity.
Well, look at Milan right now.
Yeah,
They've had consistency. Yeah, they put points up on the board now.
And they're right there. And it's just kind of like how Sal mentioned. It's right there and it's close. And we should be covering more of the Benfica game, but there's nothing to cover because this team didn't show up again.
Well, there are a couple things. Obviously,
with Kalulu getting hurt, I think that's the main news.
That is main news. We'll take that at the end so we can roll into the center back discussion.
Okay.
But so what I want to start off with is McKennie, captain number 7. A lot of us have been yelling for this. I'm not happy that we are on captain number 7, but damn, it's about time that you gave it to the hardest working dude on that team. How do you guys feel about it?
I feel great about it. The problem is that we had 6 captains before that.
Mm-hmm.
All within 6 months.
Yeah.
Look, in my
employee
opinion,
of the month is what it is.
Look, in my opinion, what should have been there from the first place is Locatelli, your first captain, McKennie because he's the hard worker, the vice captain. Locatelli because you can say, yeah, he's the Italian, he's the actual like Juve fan, like who's in there with
for
his
years.
heart. He has been there for years. He is one of our most senior players by now, and he's hardworking as well. That's why he's playing right now, because he actually played himself back into the position. So he the number 1 captain, and McKennie just because of his pure hard work, the vice captain. That's what I would have done.
I still would have. Go ahead. No, I finish your thought.
But the captaincy is not the only problem. I think we have an actual coaching problem with a coach that either doesn't know better or is too stubborn. What are the signs, or what is showing that you're a great coach? If you have a system, the players don't fit in the system, then you adjust the system. You play around to fit your players to their best positions, and we aren't doing that. Either he doesn't know anything else than his current lineup and his 2-7-2 and all that shit. But
do we want to screw around with that? Like, I can open up FIFA and do this at the end where we can just like stick around with the lineup.
All right,
and just see.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes, and part of me is kind of looking at it where I think this job is too big for him.
But yeah, it must be, because
it has to be. There's no way it's not.
It's getting the better of him, and you can see it in his comments, his pre-games, his post-games. He's starting to get rattled, and it's not rattled in like a Conte, a Mourinho, even an Allegri way where he'll just tell off somebody because he's just pissed off at them. He's turtling. He's going into his shell a little bit because he's just not a strong leader. He isn't. He's not that out and out guy in a locker room. You need a player to do it, but you need the coach. You definitely need the coach to do it if you don't have the player that does. And we don't have the player that does it. So the coach needs to do it. And he's not that dude. This team is a bunch of prima donnas, and he can't control. It's just like Sarri. Sarri was too small for the team. He couldn't control the locker room.
So was Pirlo. To the contrary of many Pirlo stands believe, Pirlo was too small for the job.
At first, I think people were very excited. Like the team was. There was that personal connection with the players, but when it came to the professional side, the sporting side, no, it fell apart after a couple months.
Yeah, and this is where this is starting to look like it's heading. Honestly, the only difference between this season and the Pirlo season is you don't have Ronaldo somehow pulling you in games.
That was like, you take Ronaldo out of that season,
it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like I hate saying that, but if you were to take Ronnie out of the Pirlo season, this season would literally be the same exact thing. Like practically the same exact thing where, again, and that's the funny thing about this is we don't have a 30 plus goal scorer on the roster. Because
we have the wages of one.
We have the wages of one, but we don't have one. But because if you look at it, right, remember back then, right? Because it was COVID and we had nothing better to do but watch that atrocious product. But how many times were we watching matches and then it's like, again, it's 1-1 or we're down 1 or something like that, and all of a sudden Ronaldo just says fuck it and does something and scores. That's pretty much what that season was the epitome of.
Sampdoria getting the vertical of like a star center NBA player.
Like even like for example against Torino when we were tied and then Cuadrado does like some ridiculous swerve cross shot that goes in. Like it was that season was the epitome of just the Ronaldo show. Like Ronaldo just doing some stupid stuff. Like we're down against Udinese, Ronaldo somehow saves that.
Didn't even Sandro just bam across a couple times too and get it on Ronaldo when he just he just connected, put it in the back of the net. That's what he was.
And you look at that, and again, there was no decent style of play. The only difference was, and it kind of goes to show how bad Pirlo was as a coach, is when you had Chiellini and Bonucci in your back line. And could you imagine, and you were still leaky. Like you had De Ligt too, versus like what we have currently. Because like right now, obviously, I can say that our defense is nowhere near the quality of it was during the Pirlo-esque season. But again, I just want to prove that point to the people that kept telling me that Pirlo was a master tactician and wasn't given a fair shot.
Here's a fun question, though, because you mentioned De Ligt. A couple months ago, when our situation was better.
Hey, give him to me right now.
That was the question. So you're at this point, I think you say yes.
I knew it. That's where I wanted to go. Brother, if you make me choose between De Ligt and whatever we have right now, dude, give him to me. Every 3 games, concede a penalty. I don't care.
Let's say he's Gotti, but uses his hands. That's the only difference.
Well, we already have a Luis.
Oh man.
So,
honestly, that number one, it was never an option because he's still way too expensive. But in a hypothetical sense, yeah, of course I take him, but I would take anybody right now. So,
Dash, you take him?
No, I wouldn't, because what's the point? Honestly, what is the point of having him? It's not
desperate.
It's not. I'd rather just go grab some random center back from Empoli. Hint, foreshadowing. But like honestly, like at this point, why? Because like. And this is where it was funny, because remember this, because I have receipts and I want to talk about this, is how many times were we bitched at about people, we need the ball playing center back. Okay, great. You put Locatelli, who's who was playing the ball playing center back role. Did you see any multi-ball there? Yeah, no, nothing. Well,
the problem is that we've continue to say this, like
Kalulu was a ball playing center back.
You can't have both of them. That's the problem. You can't have both of them. I do in my FIFA career because it's FIFA and it's stupid. Doesn't work in real life. And unless
honestly,
you're like elite, unless you're like a Real Madrid and you just have like the money to put the resources into that system. Otherwise, no, don't do it.
Honestly, we are in a situation where we are desperate for just anybody, and for us to be now at the 31st of Germany 31st of January now.
Yeah,
It's crazy to not have a center back through the door.
No, it's
Like,
absolutely insane.
like I said on the call-in on Sunday. Like the second Bremer went down with the injury, and where you had the results of the medical test, you should have been on the phone. You should have gotten anybody. Like, I don't care who it was. Chris had a couple of good names. Joel Matip, for example, his contract ran out at Liverpool.
Ramos.
Just sign anybody. And okay, and if you don't want to sign one of those free agents, you should have lined up a deal that you immediately can that goes through in the first couple of days in January. We are that desperate for a center back, and because we played the shit out of our center backs, now Kalulu's injured as well, and that is because you didn't have a replacement ready.
He used the shit out of him. Before we get to him, though, our other defenders this game, Locatelli coming on as the center back, so kudos to him for being able to play the multiple roles. But how do we grade him in this role?
I only saw the highlights, so I couldn't tell like anything.
Damn it! I was chewing. I muted myself. Nothing. There's nothing there. Like, for example, there it is. There's your ball playing center back. Do you see Moto's balls yet or no? No, you didn't see anything because again, ball playing isn't that big of a deal if you don't have anything else.
And then your internet connection dropped too. So
no, it didn't. Did it?
Yeah. You're just a mess.
Well, you were
when I clap, maybe when I clap the sound or whatever.
Oh, it clips. Yeah. It's an auto clip. Yeah. Don't clap on your microphone, Dash. No, it's a dick move. Don't do it.
Whatever. I know. Why would I do that?
Honestly, don't even care about ball playing.
I just need defenders. You just need someone to defend. That's it.
You just need defenders. Fuck everything else. Sorry that I'm scaring this much, but honestly, this whole situation makes me actually way more angry than it looks like, because I'm sorry to say it, but it is mismanagement of the highest order.
Does it make you angry that Way was a right back?
What should we like? We have Savona, we have Alberto Costa, who is new. We sent Danilo away.
Ruhi, you got Ruhi as well. You have actual right backs. You put Way in there. Yeah. And it also wasn't great.
Oh, but we knew that. Weah was either... Yeah, we played him as wingback under Allegri, which isn't his natural position either. But he's a right winger. He is a traditional right winger. I don't like what I expect.
He's a right winger center forward, which means you can't defend. That typically means you don't know how to defend.
I mean, yeah. What should we expect? Like, it's not his natural position.
I kind of want to share this clip because it's a goalkeeper position, but apply it to the center back role. This one, like, I put it on Discord, so if you're in our Discord, you already got the
yeah, Mark Goldbridge, my brother.
Like, this was insane. I was listening to this, and I was like, holy fuck, this makes perfect sense. So here, just take a quick listen. Credit to Mark Aldrich, I think. I don't know what the actual is. It Snap Sports? I guess that's them that did it, right?
Yeah, Snap Sports Football.
Aldrich.
They just clipped the rant of his. This from his YouTube channel, I think, and they just clipped it.
Yeah, fair use, right?
They burnt a legend who was consistent and a great shot stopper because they decided a shit United side needed a ball-playing goalkeeper.
So Q and Rugani for reference material, by the way.
The hipsters wouldn't shut up. The media were all over it. De Gea's not good enough. We need a ball-playing goalkeeper, despite being a team that's never played out from the back.
Who else is a team that never plays out from the back?
Us.
Starts with a J.
Kareem does great when he comes in.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 5 years, we need a ball-playing goalkeeper. So we let a goalkeeper that had just won the Golden Glove, who was 31, which is the equivalent of being 25 for a goalkeeper. You're in your prime. We let him go for nothing in his prime when he's just won the Golden Glove and multiple Player of the Year awards and knows the club and knows the dressing room and knows what it means to be a Man United player. We let him walk out the door for nothing to
Mind you, that's again Rugani to Ajax.
pay 50 million for Onana because hipsters said so.
And that is the definition of Juve in a nutshell. This current iteration of Juve in a nutshell.
And what's happened
Oh, wait, I think he's not done yet.
in the last 18 months? We got rid of arguably the best shot stopper in the league, who knows the club, who's in his prime, for a guy that can't deal with crosses and can't make many saves. That's all I'm going to say about Onana.
And by the way, Onana literally by statistic costs them points in every second game because of
You know
his
what's
mistake.
bad? Because I got stuff on my news feed about United fans bitching about Onana. And I don't really follow United stuff that I should get this kind of thing, but I was getting it.
Yeah, no, I do follow it, and yeah, you're right. It's appearing everywhere, and because it's true. As an example, thank God he's a great shot stopper and he doesn't do mistakes. But Di Gregorio, for example, we said we need him for Motorball, right? So we got him, but our expectation from Motorball was something else. Like we actually don't build up from the back at all, which is why we got Di Gregorio in the first place. And I still love him, but because everyone needed, he still saves shots. So thank God he's a good he's a hybrid. He's a hybrid that works for well, like thankfully. Otherwise, we would have been in the same situation that Man United is, because we sent Szczesny away, who was a great shot stopper, mind you. The reason we sent him away was we found the new shiny tool, Di Gregorio, which is true. But Szczesny is not good with his feet. Like how many times did he misplace passes, crosses that went just nowhere?
No, and you're right.
But it worked. It just worked. It saved us a couple of games. He saved shots and stuff like that. And we got Di Gregorio, who thankfully is a hybrid. Otherwise, we would be in the similar situation as Manchester United. It's just that they paid 70 million euros to Inter, which is criminal.
And they essentially saved their season. But I look at it from the perspective with the whole Allegri and the Motta transition, right? Where it's like all of these hipsters were saying, we need this Motta guy. This Motta guy is going to save the world, save the day, and yada, yada, yada. And he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And now it's like, look, I have a bunch of people saying Motta out on Twitter. Like, it's like, no, we're in this mess because of people like that. We're in this mess because some goofballs decided to rent out a banner in Times Square and put Max out on that. Like, it's all because of those individuals. And now it's just like, okay. And I remember, and you even remember, and you specifically said it just as I did. Be careful what you wish for. Be very, very careful with what you wish for. Because now I can't really put together the fact of whether or not Giuntoli is one of the most stupid squad builders I've ever seen in my life, or that Thiago Motta has to be the dumbest coach or manager I've ever seen in my life as well. Or it could be both. Honestly, it could be both.
Usually it's both. You can't put the blame on only one of them.
No, I don't think so. And maybe also to add some spice and seasoning to this, the owner's an absolute buffoon. Because I think this is probably one of the few times I've ever seen in the history of the club, barring 08, 09 or the Del Nieri. But even then, like barring that, maybe this trio of Elkin, Giuntoli, and Motta to me makes no sense.
Can we be honest on John Elkann and the whole Exor thing? Do they even care about Juventus right now?
I don't think he does.
Honestly, their shiny toy right now is Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. And I'm telling you that because I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan and I know like some of the backgrounds because I'm an F1 nerd and I read press releases and stuff like that. Their shiny toy right now is Lewis Hamilton. They have tests in Barcelona. Just tests, not even the actual preseason tests where they test the new cars. It is a test where Lewis Hamilton is driving a 2-year-old car. And John Elkann just appears there to shake hands, to look into the cameras with his buffoon outfits.
Clown suit.
Like, what is he doing? Like, you have number one, you have a business, and number one, you have a football club as well that you have to take care of. But it looks like he doesn't even care about it.
Why would he?
Yeah, why would he? He has Lewis Hamilton.
How many Lewis Hamilton shirts are going to sell?
Hey, let's see how many I will buy, but I will. I admit to that. But the problem is, like, the merch says that Ferrari will weigh like will
Eclipse.
weigh
It'll eclipse what Juve was
eclipse
selling, right?
what Juventus is doing exactly. You're paying the same price for a Ferrari Polo that you are paying for authentic Juventus jersey, which is crazy, by the way.
But here's the crazy thing about it is
people
the
will buy
market
it,
share.
like
here's the market share, right?
Yeah, and it rose by what was it, by $1 billion or something like that the day that Lewis Hamilton signed. It's the most expensive Formula One contract that a driver ever had. They made him the best paid, and he earns from his own image rights. Ferrari doesn't even own his image rights, which is crazy.
Which means they're going to purposely inflate the prices to compensate for the loss, and people still buy it because that's the thing, right? Like, for example, look at Lewis Hamilton, and you compare it to anyone on the roster. Anyone on the roster, who's more recognizable right now in the world?
It's Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is right now the Cristiano Ronaldo when he came to Juventus.
Yeah,
it's the same equivalent, and that's why they don't even care about Juventus right now, because Exor is making their money right there.
They don't. You know, they tried, but they failed because they tried making another poster boy. They tried it with Chiesa, didn't work. They tried it with Fagioli, it didn't work.
Yep.
So it's getting to the point where now I think Elkann's just kind of like, I really don't give a shit about this team. This team is just more of we're keeping family tradition, and I don't, because to be in all honesty, and this might piss people off, but if Elkann gets a solid offer, I don't think he hesitates from selling.
I agree.
Like, if someone comes up to him and offers him X amount, what his valuation of it is, I think he sells. I don't even think he hesitates. I think he just sells and gets it. I'm done with this. Get rid of this.
I agree with that. I just don't think the offer that he wanted was there. Do you remember we had already last season couple of news articles writing about the takeover in Juventus, and the Saudis were interested in anything, and yet we didn't hear anything.
Because here's the thing, he doesn't care for it, but at the same time, he has it's play money. The way that he runs the club is play money. So for him, he doesn't really care. So it's just like, okay, great. Like, I'm not, unless I sell this for 5 billion euros or something like that. He's like, it makes, it might be operating at a loss or something like that, where for him, it's just like, it's an additional revenue stream, or it's an additional thing where it's like, okay, great, we can do all this other stuff with it, or he's not hard pressed to sell. Like, he doesn't care about, oh, maybe I should get rid of this and give this to an owner that actually cares. For him, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want to, because for that, if he was, because there are some clubs where like the owners are like, look, I'm stepping out. I can't really get this team to the level that they need to. I think it's better for a young, ambitious owner to take over. Elkann's not like that. Elkann's more of it's there. It's an asset. I'd rather just, he's like the typical rich guy that keeps the asset to have it without, caring about it long term. Because think about this though. Like, let me throw this on you, like the squad composition, right? They have gone bare bones to the way that the squad is built, right? No veteran, no super large contracts, nothing like that. A bunch of young players. You want to know who does that? Owners that do that, or owners that only care about the bottom line and don't really give a shit about anything else?
And there's more calls now for Agnelli to take over, which has been proposed 3 years' time from now. But that news has made us satiate for it to happen now, essentially, because it's falling apart.
Like, I think we said this on the Colin show, or was it the Colin show, or we did a video where we said, like, Juve's been emasculated.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has. I'm sorry, but the club in itself has been emasculated.
Well, it's just like Goldbridge. They were saying, because the hipsters, they just want to pander to the hipsters. They're pandering to the people that give the little emojis on their Instagram post. or probably worse, the one on their TikTok post. It's
Do you know what?
it's insane.
No, 100%. But do you know what this shows to me? We in Germany we have the policy of you can buy only 49% of the club. So 51% of the club is in ownership by the fans that are members of the club who have voting rights. So for example, I have voting rights and I am a member of my Berlin football club right here. And we always have membership meetings and everything where we can vote on stuff, and there we can voice our opinions, bring votes, and yeah, do an actual vote. For example, if we want a coach out, we see something doesn't work, then you can vote on it. You can talk openly about stuff. Which when you have an ownership situation where the majority sits with a single person, that makes those decisions, that person will never admit to mistakes. For example, like who do you hold accountable for mistakes? Right now, you look at Juventus. Like who does the buck stop with right now? Is it Motta or is it Giuntoli? It's Giuntoli, right? He got basically
Elkin?
made.
Could it be Elkin even? Do you go
No,
all the way to the top?
but Elkan that doesn't care because he made Giuntoli almighty, almost. Like Giuntoli is deciding all. He oversees
If he
the
wants to
women's, the junior teams and the main team.
You know
If I-
just
if I-
as
if I-
well, if Elkin wanted, if he cared, if he wanted to do something, you saw he wanted Lewis Hamilton Ferrari. He got Lewis Hamilton because he has the money and he wanted it.
Yes.
What does he want for Juventus? You know, we have to question Elkin. I'm going all the way to the top. We can trickle down. It can distill down, but everyone,
you're 100% right. You're 100% right.
everyone's at blame under the microscope.
And it's funny that it's funny that you mentioned Lewis Hamilton, because Dash and I talked a couple of minutes about Hamilton as well, and that is the new shiny toy for Elkan right now, and he just doesn't care about Juventus. That's maybe why he gave all the power to Giuntoli, and Giuntoli is mismanaging the squad, like from the beginning to circle back to it from the Bremer injury. Or from even before that, sending Rugani away, who's a center back that we needed, and like Dash said, like with the example of the Onana video, we sent a fully functioning and really good center back away for a couple of new shiny toys.
You know who would have been better at left back than way of playing right? So McKinney now playing left. If we had, say, Lord DeCilio playing as left back, then you put McKinney on right, and then Way would never have to play as a fullback. You know, like it's not just Rugani. We keep on saying Rugani. It's Danilo. It's DeCilio. It's fucking everyone. Man.
No, 100%. It's just Rugani is the obvious example that you should have kept.
But there's just so many, and that's what's frustrating. That's what's frustrating me, anyways. That we had the option. Multiple.
No, and credit to you. And credit to you. You were the first one to say it with in regards of Rugani. But yeah, we sent away a lot of players that we could have used right now. And yes, technically you can recall them, but the clubs need compensation. You can't just recall a player without compensation. But
yeah, there's some sort of agreement there.
I still don't understand. Even if it costs you a couple of million, why you don't call back Rugani?
And that's the thing, we're going potentially spending 5 million on another loan.
I still don't understand. We are a month into this window. We have literally 2 or 3 days to go. No, so here's Friday, so two full days to go.
Well, it's Italy we're talking, so it's 2 days left.
Yeah, and for the life of me, I don't understand. Number one, why we don't have already center backs in, and why one of them is not Rugani, because it's literally the cheapest option.
Like how much, and we don't know. They never release these kinds of details, but how much could it possibly cost to recall Rugani? A guy.
And by the way, if it's, for example, you made a shit deal.
Let me throw a little bit of a conspiracy theory here for you. This will get you guys going a little bit. What if some of the players that were on Exodus or being frozen out of the squad were players that were close to Allegri and didn't like the way that Giuntoli did Allegri? So what Gentili did then was try to clean house with the Allegri sympathizers of the club, per se.
That could very well be it, but it's
'Cause, like,
still dumb as
Rugani,
fuck.
It could be
DeCilio,
that, but
Danilo,
Dash is
McKennie. Because he tried to get rid of McKennie.
So did Allegri.
No,
That might have. Sorry.
The logic is not too far fetched. The problem with it is, in my opinion, if he wanted to get Rugani as an example out, like that hard, he would have terminated the contract like he just did with Danilo and with
Yeah, but he would have taken a loss. He would have taken a bad loss. That would
Yeah, Danilo was 6 months left.
but Rugani earns less than what Danilo's doing, and he's
but here's the thing: Danilo like forfeited the rest of his wage. Like Danilo's like, I'm not going to take the rest of this. Like I'll take what I was owed, and that's it. And he's like, that's it. But because you don't know, because they've tried to do that with Rugani for a while, but like that's where I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, could that potentially be something like that where like Gentili was just kind of like, F it, I'm gonna scorched earth everything and start fresh without realizing how dumb that might be.
But when you scorch earth, you don't set your expectations as top 4. And you don't spend 168 million knowing that you're not going to make top 4 scorching the earth, and you're not going to get that extra $100 from the $100 million from the Champions League, and you're going to get millions less the further down your table. You have to be very conservative with how you approach a complete like on one hand, it's very aggressive, you're scorching the earth. But you have to be very particular with how you rebuild it from that point. And we have not done either. We've half-assed the scorching, and we're half-assing the rebuilding. Because we can't rebuild properly because we didn't fucking scorch it properly.
I would have bought that it was a scorched earth if all the players he brought in were on options instead of obligations.
Or not $50-60 million.
Or dry loans.
Or basically all the deals. What deal do we have that's good? At this point in the season, looking into it, what's a good deal?
You can't say anything because we don't know which ones are going to be finalized.
Kalulu is a good deal. Cabal before he got injured was a good deal.
Well, before Kalulu got injured.
Yeah. Pope Miners before it happened, I was saying there are so many other options for way cheaper, but yeah, when he gets here, number one, play him in his right position, which we don't, and yeah, if you get him, you have to get the best out of him. And still, we paid too much, in my opinion. We still paid too much. If he would be scorched earth and the mastermind negotiator that everybody said he is, he would have gotten us co-miners for 5 to 10 million less. But yeah, that's a whole other situation. We spent way too much for the production that we got. We could have gotten other players for way cheaper and gotten the same results that we have right now. So
well, we can look at it here. And we have Coop 55, Dougie 51, Kefren Thuram. Okay, that's a good deal. 20.
Thuram is a good deal, absolutely.
Alberto Costa, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
Ball, I mean, decent, but he's injured. That's a tricky one to really say. Nico Gonzalez
was injured a lot, but
yeah,
yeah.
Chico, I'm liking.
Yeah.
But that's not. We allegedly have the priority to deal with Porto at the end of the season.
But do you know what my problem is there with Conceição? Dash, you'll this question is specifically for you. Are we with Conceição in a similar situation where we were with Chiesa? Where he had lots of shiny dribbles and he still has them, and we say, "Oh my god, that was nasty," and doesn't have a lot of end product so far.
That's actually a good question, and that's a good point because the Hodge ball video that was put on Discord.
Like, is it fair? Is it fair to be that harsh already?
Okay,
I know
so
it's tasty.
I'll just interject right from the get-go.
And say
that
fuck off. No.
well, Chiesa. Well, I told Chiesa to fuck off because of his attitude, just like we want Vlahovic to leave because of his attitude. It's that kind of shit. Right off the bat, technical, sporting side, put that aside. Mentally, miles better. And I like him because of that.
I could see that argument from a maturity perspective that yes, Conceição is more than Chiesa from a maturity standpoint.
But how long will be? Chiesa was the
know.
was the same until
I know.
like after
Until
the
we
Champions
until we pumped all that hype up his ass.
No, he was always I gave excuses for his whininess. Listen, if I was doing that poll, remember a couple years ago I did that poll for Inter when we played them, who's the most punchable? If I was to do one for Juve, it would be Chiesa. Bonucci would probably be there too at that time, right? But like Chiesa would be at the top of that list.
I wouldn't dare to punch Bonucci because he would have punched back.
Oh no, you'd be fighting. You'd be fighting at that point. Chiesa though, he'd be running mama.
Oh yeah.
He's good. Like if you want to bully, you go on Chiesa.
By the way, he played full 90 minutes for Liverpool yesterday.
Congratulations.
No, he played. No,
Don't
that's
care.
impressive. Well, I mean, again, it's just like you can even tell. Like for example, Liverpool doesn't even take Chiesa seriously. Here, take a look at this.
Come back there. Come on, come back. Let's go. The left there. Oh! Ah! Del gol! Federico, zero goal. Come on, Fede.
See, they even like, oh, Federico, 0 goal. Like they're trolling him.
Why did you have that ready that quickly, man? Dude, I just had to say Chiesa, and that was like magic.
It's in his receipts folder.
It's in my receipts folder. I got a receipts folder. I keep receipts. I'm petty.
No, but just leaving mentality aside, which is of course important. My question was like the production that we got in terms of goals and assists, which are important for a winger.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on that perspective. Where, like for example, Conceição has better traits than Chiesa does as a player. Unfortunately, he just hasn't had the end results to it. And this is kind of where it gets interesting, right? All the dribbles are cool, right? Because again, when you play in a shit team, if you do something decent, it gets a little bit blown out of proportion, i.e. Chiesa at the Euros last summer. So that's where I can agree with you on that sense, where like I would love to see him do more, because I think how many goals he has? 1-1 right now with us.
So that's Champions League.
He
and
has
in Serie A,
one goal. He has 1 goal in Serie A, 1 in Champions League, 3 assists in Serie A, 1 in Champions League. That is
so right now
6 GAs across all comps.
So 6 GAs across all comps. And his minutes are limited too, right? Like he does not have that many minutes either.
That's true, not as many. But
he played almost. Hold up, let me do the math.
I want to say it would be
1,300 minutes all comps.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's not like I think guys are closing in on 2,000 now, right? So it's sort of like Chiesa. He was injured as well.
Let me ask you this. So, like for example, how many matches has Juve played currently right now in total? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
8 Champions League.
I don't know.
You have 1 in Copa.
Quick maths.
So 8 Champions Leagues, 1 Copa, 1 Super Copa. So we're at 10, and then what? Match day 22.
So we're at 32 matches times 90. So right now there is 2,880 minutes available.
And he played 21 matches. Oh, and Coppa Italia. Sorry, I misquoted the Coppa Italia match.
But do we have the accurate number of how many minutes Conceição has played in all comps right now?
Hold up.
Because, like for example, it could say that you played a match, but he could have only been in.
He played 849 minutes in Serie A, 469 in Champions League.
So 1,200-ish.
So 12. So he's under 50%. So he's at what, 6 goals? Or did you say 6 goals and assists?
Total,
yeah. All comps, yeah.
So for right now, with the sample size that he has had.
Oh, sorry. With Coppa Italia, 7.
Yeah, there's another. There's 7. Another goal. 3 goals, 4 assists. Yeah, I missed that too somehow. But yeah,
okay, but still 7 in practically half the minutes, right? So I'll be kind and say, that 1,200, I'll bump it up to about 1,300. So out of a possible 2,880 minutes or 2,900, he played 1,300 of it, which is way less. It's roughly around 50%. It's under 50%. So him playing at under 50% of the time, and he's able to have essentially 7 goals and assists. So that's effectively saying like, hey, he played roughly about,
It's roughly 49%, yeah, or
Yeah, so he's
45%.
So in theory, he's played in about 16 matches. So to have 7 goals, or what is it, 7 or 8 goals and assists in all comps in about 16 matches worth, isn't
Not
that
horrible.
bad, because that's
Not
a
bad.
50% production rate.
Now there is a lowest common denominator
Damn,
for
we should
both
clip
of these
this.
wingers.
This is a clip here. Bam, clip button pressed. But that's where I look at it from that perspective. Yes, he's been productive. When I look at it from that sample size, if you look at it from an overall sample size like that, you're just gonna like, it's not that good, because again, 32 matches, he's only at 7. It needs to be better there. It needs to hit double digits, at least 12 to 13. That's where I would have put it, 12 to 13 goals and assists. But for this, right, 16 matches, he's played or featured in 16 minutes worth of matches, and he's got 7. You're at, again, 49-50% production rate, which isn't bad. It's not fantastic, but it's also not terrible.
Okay, but these two guys, both on the wings, the lowest common denominator with both of them is that they're trying to give the ball to Vlahovic.
They're not the first option. Like, for example, like Mo Salah, when the offense is going, the ball's going through Mo Salah. Like, Mo Salah is deciding whether he scores or assists.
Yeah. No, but it's unfair to break down Liverpool as that one-dimensional, because
Of course, right? But
everybody's playing incredible. But yeah, you're right. They are just tossing it to the right side sometimes and hoping for magic.
But like, think about it, right? Like, for example, Ronaldo at Real Madrid, like, he's the first option compared to Benzema and Bale. He was the first option that Modric or Kroos or Casemiro were looking for.
Yep.
So, and I'm not saying, like, again, they spam to Salah, they spam to Ronaldo. Like, by all means, I don't mean it in that sense of the discussion. But what I'm trying to kind of get to the point is like, Conceição isn't the main option, and he isn't the main option for the offense.
Ooh,
It's always
by
gonna be
the way,
defense.
I have a good example on Conceição. Look, he played 849 minutes in Serie A. Yes, one goal, 3 assists. Do you want to guess what Mbangula has?
I think
No, it's better.
the same amount, if not more.
Got a couple
3 goals, 2
Yeah.
assists, and 619 minutes. 230 minutes less than Conceição.
And he was close yesterday too. He was probably one of the better players of the team.
It's almost like he played better than Yildiz. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, Yildiz also.
By the way,
had a concussion.
how man, can you please play Yildiz a couple of times more as a 10?
No,
Can we see it?
not under this regime. Or not. No.
It's so criminal, man.
No, it risks
playing the 10. And
it risks injury, and they can't sell him for 200 million. That's why they want to play him as the 10.
if he plays on the left wing and doesn't produce like he's currently, sorry that I said that our star boy isn't performing properly. But if he keeps performing like this, he won't bring us 50 million.
No, well, I mean, look at all these stars that we get, and he's better than the names I'm about to mention. But how bad did we glaze? Let's just look at the people that we own, not like Bernacea and all those people that we got rid of that people are losing their mind of. But we have Fagioli and Moretti that we still own. That these were the Italian star boys coming out of the youth academy, and they're going to be the next great thing. And maybe Moretti still, he still has a chance. But who's to say Yildiz, it doesn't turn into the same thing at the end of the day?
And by the way, Yildiz has 4 goals, 2 assists in 1,500 minutes. 22 games played in Serie A. He played every single game.
But he's definitely out of position. So I would, take that into consideration. But Bangula's got the best numbers.
No, 100%. 100%. I'm just saying, like, if we play the players, number one, play them in their right positions, so you can get a bit out of them, because if it continues, the the goal contributions rate is not great. And if you need the stats to be able to sell the players for the money that you need as well. But I think all of us are in agreement that if a right offer comes in the summer that Mbangula is gone, for example,
because we're going to be a selling club, and if we are, then
100%,
yeah, good chance.
100% the Sule treatment. Mbangula is going to get the Sule treatment. 100%.
Yeah, and there's another.
And at some point, if they are sold, like who do you take out of the next gen? Not everybody will turn out as good as Mbangula is. Like thankfully he was, but we didn't have the expectation that he will turn out as good. Like we got lucky there.
No, it's because Monto's an elite coach.
Easy now. All right, so
that offended Dave.
we've danced around it a little bit. Kalulu out for 3 to 4 weeks, so 21 weeks in reality. Danso is is apparently a soon, maybe getting hot.
Honestly, I always liked him because I watched a lot. I watched him a lot with the Austrian national team, and he's pretty much a starter for Austria, and he always like plays good game. Like he always the least he has is 7s most of the time, which for a center back is really good because that means you did your job without scoring a goal. So he is really good. He's very consistent. He's big, which I like because Dash and I said from the start, Kalulu's area game is horrific because he's undersized and he's very skinny for a center back. And Danso is built like Bremer. So I like it from that standpoint. I would have liked him already in the summer, but was it Roma who he had a medical for?
I believe so.
Was it Roma? I would have liked him to get him at that point. Dude, he would be a great duo with Bremer, and he's good at his feet. He's press resistant. Austria plays a very high line, so he's great at defending that. He goes up and down the pitch, and I even have a heat map ready if you want to see it.
God, we're supposed to do a dedicated video on this. We're spilling all the beans already. Okay.
Just a
teaser.
He's a main defender. He's a 50% dribble stopping rate. Yeah.
He's defending everything, like from the center line to the own box. He's defending everything, and
then obviously in the corner box there,
but
receiving
really,
corners because he's big.
Yeah, but really dark red, so he is there, and his goal scoring numbers are good as well for a center back. So that was my teaser.
Yeah,
no,
so
why
pick
not?
him up,
Why not? But the amount of money we spent already on loans. Damn.
Yeah, so I heard 5 mil, I heard 4 mil. It's in around that, but yeah, 4 or 5 mil.
Yeah.
Again, it's a January emergency signing, but that's a lot to have no rights, no obligation, no nothing. Drive along.
But you know what? This would be one I would be really excited with a buy option because he would really pair excellent with Bremer when he gets fit, for example. And we don't, assuming we don't sell Bremer the minute he gets fit. But they would be a really good duo. And then you flank them with Savon on the right side and whoever on the left side. Also about to lose Cambias as well, like at the latest in the summer, I guess. So
and Cambias, so maybe that's worth mentioning as well. People are starting to get fed up with him. It's on one hand, he's overused. He's been playing with a knock. He needs a bit of rest, like everyone. But he is starting to make dumb mistakes. I've defended him. I don't know. I'm sitting on the fence a little bit more about this.
I think there's a little bit of fatigue. I think that plays into it too. There's fatigue, and then
but everyone has it.
No.
And he looks mentally off as well. Yeah. I don't know if that's down to the fatigue or whether it is Man City that is arousing him. But
a bit of both.
Yeah.
You guys want to react to a clip real quick? Quick segue into.
I like reacting. Sure. Yeah.
All right, here we go. This from earlier today.
Oh boy.
sophisticated audience, so I'm not saying that they think this, but I think a lot of the narrative around Thiago Motta and Juventus coming into the season was also wrong. Maybe people didn't watch Bologna, and I watched them very heavily last year.
True.
They were not a team that played this electric football. And every time I see people say, oh, we thought we were going to get 1 million goals. We thought we were going to get this, like Vincenzo Italiano, who just goes for it and concedes at the back. The reason why Bologna was great, the reason why Bologna made history and got into the Champions League for the first time in 60 years was because defensively they were solid. They were the third best defense in Serie A. And if you watch their games, they retained a lot of the ball, so that's why they were really good defensively. But that was the strength in them. And I think coming into the season, number one, that was off. Number one, I think people thought it was going to be something that it wasn't. And number two, I think people also, and I understand because of some of the signings that came in, they put Juventus immediately for the Scudetto. Now, for me, I always thought it was crazy. And I know Juventus' history, you always have to fight for the Scudetto. I get that. I'm saying from a fan's perspective, from an outside perspective, I think Juventus should always fight for the title. But my expectations were never that this Juventus was going to compete for first place, because I thought it was too young of a team. I thought that Motta's going to have growing pains. So I think that also hurts him. That's not to say that what's happened so far is justifiable and it should have been better, but I think that also adds to the level of scrutiny that's been on the project right now.
So he was being polite when he said that we're sophisticated. No, overall, I agree with a lot of what he says. But
I don't remember him saying that. I don't remember him saying that back then.
Okay, that I don't know.
He didn't say this. I don't want to go into another.
I'll be fair. I don't listen to him. I don't know what he said.
Social media YouTube war.
Get the
But
receipts.
we saw plenty of clips, plenty of thumbnails back in the day saying, all right, now that Allegri is gone, they got Thiago Motta. Hey,
There's a more
It wasn't-
free-flowing calcio. Free-flowing calcio.
Now, this is where I have an issue
it
with
wasn't-
content creators. Is that
hey, it wasn't us that fueled expectations. We were pragmatic.
no?
Like-
Why? Sure. I mean, we can make fun of ourselves too when the time's appropriate. But content creators in general, I'm saying this very stereotypically. This is what they do. They flip flop. They go with what's trending because that's what gets them the clicks. That's what gets them the business. And we've always said it. We all are very successful in our normal jobs. That's why we're always tired and haggard and hate our lives. And we do this as an outlet. When it's your job, you got to flip flop and do this shit and basically be untrustworthy because the general population, the masses, just want to click on things. So you know what? Marco makes a job of this.
Yeah, props to him for it.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I do have something to say. If this is your job, what the fuck are you doing wearing AirPods, you fucking amateur? Come on,
Dude,
man.
oh my god, I thought the same. I thought the same. I
Now
saw
that I gotta fucking call you out on, Marco.
exactly the same thought. Man.
And I gotta say too, Beppe, I understand you going with the pale pink because of the jersey, the original jersey. I can't fucking see what's going on here, man. I can't. No. Design perspective, also a fail. Okay. There's my hot takes.
So it's kind of break down the. I wasn't, the expectation from an actual perspective isn't to challenge it. No, dude, when you spend that amount of money, you're up there. 1-2. You
have
gotta be in that. You gotta be in that discussion.
look.
Growing pains. Okay, again, growing pains. The statement that he made about growing pains. Again, you don't make that investment when there's growing pains.
Mhm.
You do not invest 60 million on Coop. You do not invest 50, well, not even arguably 50 on Dougie. You don't do loans with obligations for Nico Gonzalez. You don't do loans with obligation, or well, air quotes, obligation for Conceição.
Palulu.
Those moves,
We like the deal,
aren't-
but it's loan with obligation as well.
Yeah, air quotes. We,
air quotes,
it's messy.
that is an overhaul. And yes, there's going to be growing pains, but you do not make. You want to know the last team that did a stupid overhaul like that, and what happened to them was Milan, and they went bankrupt. They lost Elliott Law or Zhang or whatever who the hell bought it. Was a Chinese ownership. Spent like 250 million. They bought like 7-8 players, and then like all of them sucked. But that to me, I'm sorry, but that's not no. If you're going to have growing pains, if you're going to do a grassroots project, a young Juventus and yada yada yada, you don't buy Koopmeyers. You keep Moretti. You play Fagioli Moretti. Maybe you somehow get Ravella back. Shout out to Primo Calcio. But like you get those. You find you make a core. What is your core? What is this team's core right now outside of Yildiz and maybe
There's no core.
Bremer?
Locatelli.
Is he?
Probably, yeah.
No, but look, no. A core is a core when you have an actual spine that works together, that knows itself. You need a spine over the length of the pitch that knows each other. Like what
You need
is
the
Bremer
structure to
doing?
hold it together.
Like Bremer has to know what Locatelli is doing. Locatelli has to trust what the 10 or the 8 in front of him does.
It's his
Those have
chemistry.
to know what the striker in front of them. They have to know each other like their family. That is how you create an actual spine. And if you don't have that spine, in my opinion, you don't have a core.
But you only create that by going through adversity. Every family has its issues, right? And the reason why you're still family is because you work out your issues.
Or you do the right scouting.
The right scouting.
Sure,
Look,
that aside, but from the mentality aspect.
The reason why I don't consider Locatelli the core was because Locatelli was a fringe player looking out from the season start. He was a fringe player.
He has now become one. Look, if you go through historically great teams and you go through their cores, you start, for example, let's say Barcelona, Piqué, Puyol, and at the 6 you had Busquets, and then Xavi, Iniesta, and at the front striker X Luis Suarez and whoever they tried everything and it worked because they had incredible players. David Villa worked. Do I forget somebody? Ibrahimovic worked as a 9. Like if yeah, dude, Real Madrid, for example, Sergio Ramos, defender X next to him, in front of that Casemiro, in front of that Kroos or Modric, in front of that one season it was James Rodriguez, but you had Ronaldo, goddamn, and you had Benzema who was working for a couple of years. Like every historical, I can go through the Bayern teams, through Manchester City teams, to the Liverpool teams that went against Manchester City.
There's even Juve teams you could talk about.
Yeah,
too.
but look at
100%. I'm just saying you need a fully functioning spine to have an actual great team. And to win stuff, you have to be a great team. You can't even go through this Inter, like Bastoni and Damian, even though he is old, De Vrij is old, and it's working.
And then you have the midfield, yeah. Chanaloglu, you have Chanaloglu, you have Barella, you have Mkhitaryan, and then up top you have Lautaro.
Yes,
he's found his form again now, along with Thuram. So
and Thuram, for example, as a second striker, that is incredible scouting. And they got him on a free transfer.
The only reason why I didn't put Thuram is because Thuram wasn't there from like the get-go. Like, for example,
no,
if
you're right.
But like, that's great scale. You want to talk about scouting?
No, yeah, no, for sure. But like, I'm looking at it from like the actual core foundation of this Inter team. Bastoni's been there for the whole time. De Vrij has been there for pretty much the whole time as well. Chanaloglu was probably the newer joinee. Same thing with Barella. Yeah, but Chanaloglu, Barella, and them have kind of come in towards into the fade as well. Mkhitaryan was kind of like the cherry on top.
Dropping Zielinski like a cherry on top, like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then you have Lautaro that's been there since the Spalletti era for Inter too. So it's like that's when I look at it, and that is a proper core. Like that is a legit core for a team.
Well, that's why they're doing well, like Champions League and the league.
Yeah, because for them right now it's plug and play. Like, okay, we can throw in Augusto, we can throw in Dumfries, we can throw in Zielinski, we can throw in Fratesi, we can throw in other, you can throw in a Thuram.
Everybody knows each other at that team. And what we need is one of those spines. Like what would the spine be right now? Okay, you have Di Gregorio. good to great goalkeeper. I think it's okay. Bremer, you need a center back next to him that is trustworthy enough for him to be consistently playing next to him.
So he doesn't have to cover off and make
Like
mistakes.
who would you say right now is besides Bremer our best defender? We don't know.
McKennie.
And you need maybe, but I mean as a center back.
Oh, I don't know. All the good ones are gone.
Yeah,
And
that's the
Regani
problem.
Regani is at Ajax, so I have no idea.
Yeah, and that you need a clear-cut number 2 defender next to Bremer. And then, okay, make Locatelli your 6. Okay, that is part of the spine. Who's your grade 8? Is it Thuram right now? Is it Koopmeiners? It should have been Koopmeiners. And then you need a
Thuram,
10
I'm gonna
on
have-
top of that. We don't have a grade 10 because
I think Thuram though. I think Thuram could be part of the spine. Honestly,
Okay, but then you have less minutes for Koopmeiners. So what you're
I don't
doing
give a
with-
fuck at this point.
No, I know,
Honestly,
but
what do you want me to say?
No, 100%. I agree with you, but that is again scouting. What did you do with your scouting?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all our scouting at the end of the day, and it's why we're still trying to get a guy like Danso, perhaps with 2 days left, and
You have
and
to.
still nothing for sure.
You have to get 2 center backs, and if you don't in these last 2.5 days, brother, you fucked up. You fucked.
Oh, we're fucked. I like honestly because now that Kalulu's down, and honestly they say 3 to 4 weeks, and I joke 21.
Yep.
Milik, I mean, fuck. Who knows what happened to him? He's gone.
goes.
He disappeared.
And by the way, we said just going back to center backs, we said 2 center backs before Kalulu get injured.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you're fucked. You have
Right now-
fucked yourself
Absolutely.
because you didn't get that guy January 1st to then split the at least like play in the league games because he can't do the Champions League games. Then you would have had a healthy Kalulu to play in the It's just right from the get go. It's a goddamn yard sale. It's all sprawled out and nobody can find shit. Fucking embarrassing is what it is. Anyways, in good news, Arthur might finally leave, but we still don't
In
know
good
when
news,
yet.
Arthur might get sold.
So
Ah,
Santos was on him, then Girona came around. Apparently he didn't say anything about well, as far as we know, agreeing to go with either one of them. It's always the player. Juve obviously wants to get him going. Big problem, 5 million on salary. These smaller teams that would want a profile like this can't afford that. So it might be wage splitting. It might just be a dry loan. 2 days. 2 days, and maybe Arthur will finally leave. might come
no,
back.
but only on loan. Like he will return in the summer.
Yeah,
It's
he'll
not-
probably come back.
Yeah, not probably. He will definitely come back.
Listen, there's still a chance. Let me have some hope. He might just leave for good.
Let me have some hope.
They got rid of Danilo. Why can't they get rid of Arthur?
Do you know what I would do? I tried to ask Flamengo for Danilo on loan.
Yeah.
God damn.
No.
The situation is bad, man. It's bad.
It's not great, and this
I-
might this is worse in a sense than when you had MS Paint Allegri out hash. I'm getting to that point.
This right now is definitely worse than all the
On the
Allegri
sporting
stuff.
side, it's worse. Just in
Oh,
terms
this-
of like
this-
my general emotions.
Yes.
I mean, dealing with a bunch of
Yes.
fucking douchebags on the internet yelling at us, thinking that we actually had some sort of communication with the club. That part of it was absolute shit. But from like a pure sporting perspective, this is worse than that moment.
Absolutely, yes.
I guess this is the first time I've been checked out in a very long time.
You
But,
know,
like
what? And
honestly, watching games it's like an afterthought for me. Like I have it on in front of me where I'm just kind of like, all right, when are we going to concede? When's this over?
No, the problem is Dash. Look, at least when we were playing under Max and it seemed boring, we could dissect stuff tactically. We knew what the setup was. And now it looks like just everybody's running like headless chicken. Is there for you a tactical concept besides of dumping the ball to our wingers and try and for them try to create magic? Like, do we do anything? There's no build up from the back. We don't have control over the midfield because our midfield misplaces passes. Like what we play without any plan. At least with Allegri, we know, hey, we have got them quick wingbacks. We have Krostic. We knew what we had there, and even though everybody started figuring him out, and they defended him like towards the touchline, he still got his crosses in it. His assist numbers were at least good.
All right, you Allegrianis. We need to talk about a team that Allegri lost to actually last year, and that's Empoli. I remember earlier on in the season when I had a little bit more hope that I said this was an easy game.
It's an easy draw.
There are no easy games.
It's an easy draw.
I said it should be. Okay, you know what I mean. To preview and going ahead here, Sunday, 6:30 a.m. Hopefully I get some sleep by then because that's 6:30 my time. Of course, it's going to be at 12:30 in Italy, start Central European time. So, you know, a shit Juve against just Empoli. Why not give us a 6:30 a.m. start? Screw it. Nobody wants to watch us anyways. So here we go. All things considered, yeah, we have 4 injuries, but they got 5 injuries and 2 red cards.
Yeah.
So they're kind of hurting a little bit too. There is that to look at. Now, Dash, these stats here for you are where I want to come in here because we're comparing Vlahovic and Esposito. Bot bomb rating of 7.09 to 7.13, so that's similar. Goals 7 for Vlahovic, 8 for Esposito.
Look at the expected.
Expected goals 10.14 to 4.16 or 4.6.
Mm-hmm.
Only trying to 1 assist for Vlahovic to 0. He gets a win there. And they both are at 18 max. Esposito.
Hey, by the way, it's crazy how an Inter reject is that much better than our striker.
And he wears shirt 99. It's like he's playing hockey, man. Come on.
Yeah. No, but look, hey, his resume. He started in Inter's youth. Yeah, they loaned him to Spal, then loaned him to Venezia, then came back to Inter. They loaned him to Basel, came back to Inter, loaned him to Anderlecht, loaned him to Bari, came back to Inter, loaned him to Sampdoria, back to Inter, loaned him to Empoli, and he will return to Inter because no buy option, no buy obligation. And
you see here minutes played 1,200 total, so less than the math we were doing earlier. So that's closer to like 40% of the games he did that.
Let me do some quick maths. What was it, 12-10?
But
Yeah.
Look,
Compared to 1340.
4.68 G scored 8 goals.
And like he's only worth 5.2 million. Could we give Empoli
No,
Wow.
I'll give Empoli 10 million to take this guy and bring DeCilio back.
Dave, he will return to Inter. Have fun negotiating with Inter.
Oh, okay. It's one of those situations. Dude, I just wanted a package deal with DeCilio.
Make Inter take DeCilio and turns him into a great
No, I
wingback.
want DeCilio. I want
We got Kulu.
DeCilio as the backup for De Vrij or Damian.
Oh man.
And watch him have a career year just because F us.
Just because. Yeah. Otherwise, I expect a 4-2-3-1.
No, really? What gave that away?
Because fuck everything else. Honestly, though, what will our lineup be? Do we see Locatelli as a center back?
I just say who starts. I guarantee it's going to be Gatti Locatelli as the 2 center backs.
It has to. We don't have anybody else.
There's nobody else.
How about Weah?
Not as a
As a
center
center
back.
Dude,
Fuck it, why
you-
not? He's not a right back.
You said how trash he was as a right back. Now you want to try him as a center back, which is even worse.
Yeah, just all we need to do is put his ACL in the way and we'll be fine.
Oh, God. Another ACL tear, yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm trying to joke, guys, because honestly, it's fairly dire at this point. Even if we got a last minute, like if we sign Danso tomorrow, what? He's not making the game.
Is Alberto Costa or Viego gonna make it?
He should be able to make it. Yeah, so he could go in.
Should be in,
Yeah, so
like
possibly
he was,
that.
He was in the squad against Napoli, so he should be in the squad at least.
He goes in and then turns the ball over, and everyone's like, Costa out. Oh man.
Jeez. So yeah, probably
And the
McKennie
crew,
left
the-
back,
the
Savona right
program.
back. You're gonna see Hoop Miners as a 10 because Yildiz
Because
Is gonna
that's
be a
what
left winger.
is gonna be a left wing, or Bangul is gonna be a left winger. Nico on the right and Colo up top. That's what I'm going with, and it's gonna be 1-1.
I honestly I would love a lineup where we play like two hybrids in the half spaces, like Yildiz left half space, Nico Gonzalez right half space in front of them.
Mm.
Yeah, Kolomwani. Sorry, goodbye, Dusan. Kolomwani in front of them, and that's how you have your best player in their best positions, man. The half spaces flanked by I don't know from the left side McKennie. He's doing those runs sometimes towards the touchline. He can pass it into the box. I don't know. Savona, yeah, he's not doing that a lot, but Savona on the right side, I think that would be
He's
technically
serviceable,
the best lineup. But we don't play half spaces here.
but we do play right wings in defense.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Proudly.
So I'll take
And-
Savona for this one, even Rudy.
And center mids as center backs. So
Proudly.
I wonder if we had Hoyson, would he be the one going in as center back, or would it be Locatelli?
yeah, he's a center
Is-
back.
Is that let me ask you guys this. Is that like, do you think that was a bad deal in hindsight now?
It's really, that's really tough to say, because who would have expected this in hindsight? That's a lot easier to say.
The problem,
because like
the problem
out of-
is he wanted to go. We didn't promise him the game time, and he wanted to go. I
He
don't
would've gotten
know
it.
with those situations. Of course, like ideally, I would have kept him because now we just need bodies, like whoever it is. If your name is Dean Huysen or Hien Duysen, I don't care. Like,
I bet you he's at Bournemouth watching this situation like, fuck, I should have stayed.
Yeah.
Dude, Bournemouth is about to go to Europe, man. And he's about to get another payday because all the big English teams already want him.
It might work out for him in the end.
Because he played 4 or 5 good games and scored 2 goals.
I mean, hopefully
Premier
it works
League.
out.
That's the Premier League at its finest.
Yeah, but again, these guys,
That's how quick it goes. But he will play against Liverpool on Saturday or Sunday, so we will see.
but it just goes to the evidence pool there. Even when you're getting guys coming up from the next gen, that they could be mercenaries, because Dean's not Italian. Sure, he came up through the ranks, but he was just as happy to leave as the rest of them.
No, but we got him from Malaga, so he didn't come up in our ranks. We just bought him from Malaga.
Yeah, he came young. Yeah, I suppose we didn't really groom him,
Came from Spain. Yeah.
but still, to the point, like he didn't care. He wants the payday, and I know I've been to Malaga, and it's a nice town.
I have to go there.
It's actually fairly cheap. I recommend it.
Malaga is supposed to be very beautiful, but it was a couple of hours away from where I was, like my Spain vacation last
Yeah,
year.
there's nothing else around it. It's kind of just hanging out there on the southern
Yeah,
coast,
but
which
the
is
city
nice.
in itself is beautiful.
Yeah.
People told me so. Gotta go there as well.
I enjoyed it, and it's cool because it's got like Roman stuff and it's got Ottoman stuff as well. It's very cool. But yeah, just very affordable too. I remember there's 3 of us who were at the beach, like right on the Mediterranean there. Yeah, it was off season, so it was a little bit more chill. But it was like €5 for 3 cappuccinos, beach side. Like,
That's good.
This is fucking
That's good.
amazing.
But coffee overall in Spain is pretty cheap. For example, I did a stadium tour in the Bernabeu, and right in front of it was a cafe. I paid only €2 for a cappuccino, I believe.
Yeah,
So,
it's not bad. So that would have been
not
$6.
bad
But
either.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it was.
Yep.
I think that was $5 up with a tip. Like it was cheap.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And so just in general, like Malaga, nice spot. If you're looking for like a good Southern Mediterranean type of escape that isn't overly expensive.
Yeah.
So that's our segue of not talking about Juve anymore because that was one of the more depressing ones.
We going after dark.
Yeah, we're going in some dark places, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. The situation is bad. Management is bad. We are playing bad. All around bad.
Sucks.
So,
Yeah,
man.
it's honestly hard. This is one of our more negative episodes for sure, and we don't like to dwell on it too hard, but we would be doing a disservice to go the other way.
I just want to be cheered up by 2 new center backs. So
You might get one, so you're not going to be happy. And
if we get only one, it's catastrophic mismanagement once again.
yeah, well, we're obviously going to have to talk about this in a few days' time when transfer market closes. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We can only hope and pray, and maybe there's some magic. There was, I can't remember the name now because it was just one of those youngsters trying to get it. Yeah, just trying to get a young center back for $1.5 million.
Oh, the one from Dinamo Zagreb, I forgot.
Yes, the one that had his first game there yesterday. Yeah. What was his name?
I forgot the name. I was the one that posted it.
New next gen player.
I should.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is that just a next gen player?
He's 17, of course. He will go to the next gen.
He's not going to be that good. So that's your second center back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alrighty then. On that note, I will hit the clip button so we know when we're editing this. We're going in to the After Dark. So welcome to the After Dark segment where we talk about bridges in mac and cheese.
Did we talk about mac and cheese last time?
No, we talked about it. It was during actually like a watch along.
Yeah, it was it was a post match. Well, watch on something like that. I think Dash absolutely destroyed my mac. No, Dave destroyed.
No, it wasn't me. It was him.
No, Dash gave me tips and Dave destroyed me.
I don't think what did I say?
Oh,
I mean that bad.
You said fuck your mac and cheese.
I don't remember the context.
I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along those lines.
You're paraphrasing heavily.
Very
heavily. Oh yeah.
Whatever. Fuck your mac and cheese.
Hey, so
he said it.
See, there we go. We got him to say it. So since we have an aviation expert on here, or an aviation.
Oh man, I'm not at work. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Are we talking Boeing?
Well, no. There's a lot of aviation news if you're into it right now. But what's your question?
Current event, right? Current event of the
okay. So we are talking
Black
about
Hawk, and we're talking about this.
Okay,
I think it'd be fair to open it, right? So, what is your overall from your experience in doing what you do? Like, what was your initial thought when that happened?
So I read this at 4 a.m. this morning as I was shivering in minus 26 degrees weather.
I thought you were saying I was reading this at 4 a.m. while I was taking a massive shit.
No, I wish that's what I was doing.
Can you inform me on the situation, because I just saw the headline? Is it the helicopter and airplane thing?
Yeah. So it's a U.S. Army helicopter.
I only saw the headline, so I don't know.
And I forgot to look into it exactly. It's got a gold top. It's like a VIP helicopter for the Army.
Yeah, Black Hawk.
Yeah, but it's a VIP Black Hawk.
Yeah.
UH-60, if you will. So these pilots ostensibly should be very qualified. If they're flying the gold top helicopter, from what I understand, these guys should know what the hell they're doing. What happened? I've read a few articles, so I'm just paraphrasing what I've read, what I've seen so far.
Yeah, opinion based, people. It's we're not experts here. Let's make that clear.
I
Dave
am
is
in
next.
aviation in a
Dave,
very
Dave,
specific field, but not this one.
Dave knows it. Don't take it with a grain of salt.
So the grain of salt that you have to take is that I'm an avionics technician. So avionics means aviation electronics. And I've been doing it my whole fucking life since I was fucking 12. I started in aviation. But that's not to say I'm a crash investigator expert in that sense. So yes, this is opinion with regards to this because it is not my specialty, if you will.
Speculation, folks. Speculation.
That being said, there's not that much information, but the information out there is the air traffic control told the Black Hawk to basically go in behind it. So the plane, a CRJ, Canadian regional jet, Bombardier, built out of Montreal, nobody cares, was coming into final approach, and the UH-60 was told to go in behind it. Seconds after that, we don't know how many seconds, it might have been a split second, might have been 5 seconds, that wasn't released, but just moments right after the air traffic control gave that command, bam, they hit each other. So the interesting thing is that this helicopter was crossing an active runway with an approaching aircraft. And you never
do that
without explicit permission. This is Class A airspace, and Class A airspace is the highest controlled level of airspace. It was over Washington. It was over a city. It was over an airport. Highly density, like on the ground in terms of people, but also in the air in terms of aircraft coming in and out.
So
that
Dave,
seems like you fucked up.
Before you break it, like before you go into it, can you break down, like, for example, like Class A, Class B, and Class C just briefly?
Off the top of my head, it basically goes down levels. So A is like terminal areas, what they would call it within the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would go into like B. So say you're doing New York to LA and you're over, you've just left JFK and you're in like the outskirts of New York State, and there's these smaller airports around there, maybe like regional airports. You're now getting to like the B stuff, right? Where you need the longer range radar. You're away from the airport, and you're not like directly over a specific airspace. So like certain areas, like cities, are gonna have restrictions, because of the density of the population. Military bases, obviously, volcanoes, like natural. There's like you can't fly, for instance, inside the Grand Canyon. You have to have 10,000 feet. So there's certain restrictions. As a pilot, you know these things. There's a book. Every month, a massive ass book comes out, and it just gives you all that information. And you're like, I'm going to this airport. And of course, it's on iPads and all that shit now too. So
Google it.
Yeah. That's a super crash course. And then there's like C and D's basically like free reign. It's like the crop duster that's just flying around his farm. So very controlled airspace, essentially, across an active runway, and he just ripped right past it and crashed directly into a CRJ, apparently ripping it in half. That's the information I know. It sounds like it's the helicopter's fault.
That's honestly what it seems like.
Like at this point, with this information, like, what else is there to say? He fucked up. Allegedly.
From my basic aviation and airport knowledge, I think the aircraft that is landing has priority, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Unless you're crashing yourself, he's got priority.
I'm always forgetting what they're called, the people that are coordinating the airspace in the English term.
The air traffic controller.
Oh, the air traffic control, right?
And this would be the terminal area controller, is what they would call it.
Yeah, and they are coordinating which aircraft is landing, which one is starting, which one is on the, like, which one got this starting permission and stuff like that, which plane is which aircraft is allowed to park and stuff like that. So everything is usually like explicitly controlled by air traffic control. So there should be priority to the landing aircraft, and I don't know if the helicopter got the permission to cross
No, because he was given the permission to cross behind the CRJ. So he was given that permission to go in behind. but then he immediately crashed afterwards. So he did not.
So-
That's why. Like he just didn't, he was not supposed to be there.
Also, yeah, all right. Then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I said a lot of stuff just all right.
Okay. So I'll get the old Google. I believe this is the specific. I don't know if it's like the exact helicopter, but this is the gold top, 12th Aviation Battalion, apparently. Okay. So I just learned that. I'm not up to snuff with that. But this is like helicopters of DC, it says here. So I'm assuming I'm right. Or we're at least close to it. Now we'll do, I think it was a CRJ.
The CRJs are usually like private planes or short
They're
short
regionals.
flights, stuff
It was
like that, regional
Kansas.
flights, yeah.
It was Kansas to DC.
Yeah.
It was a 60 passenger for a crew. Yeah. It's a small one. And that's why it's called a regional jet, CRJ. There's also what's called an Embraer regional jet, and they're out of Brazil. It's the regional jet game.
Yep.
And so yeah, it's just split in half, 60 on board for a crew, and there was 3 crew on the helicopter. So 67 potentially.
All were
Yeah.
deceased, right? If I read correctly.
So they crashed into the Potomac River, which yes is only 7 foot deep, but it's also January and frigid. And everyone would have died probably within the first half hour. So making rescue attempts basically just recovery mission.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's shitty, man. This stuff
that is
happens.
it. No, but do you know what is crazy? There are YouTube channels going, for example, through airplane crashes.
Mhm.
And if they happen, there should be put a disclaimer on for people that are fearful of the air and flying and stuff like that.
It's still the safest form of transportation, and I can give you all the numbers and shit.
It is by statistics. It is no, but most of the airplane crashes are very rarely actually like technical difficulties, because every aircraft has
It's ridiculous.
Every aircraft has recovery tools, the APU engine, like
It's
have
redundancy.
in
There's
case of-
never, if it's a critical system, there's always at least 2 for a backup. In
Yes.
these larger
Yes.
aircraft, when you're talking about airliners, like the stuff you'll take, 737s, okay, there are other issues with those guys, but like 787s, an A330, whatever it might be, there's going to be like triples. Like triple redundancy we're talking about. Super safe. You can have 2 systems fail and you're still ready to rock.
Yeah. And what I wanted to go on about is most of the times it is pilots doing mistakes, although they have gigantic long like they have checklists which they have like usually have to go through before every start, after every start, before landing, after landing. Like they have a lot of checklists that they have to go through. And if something happens, most of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, it is because of the pilot thinking he knows better, ignoring stuff, or ignoring specific information, and what air traffic control and stuff and people like that are telling.
And pilots tend to have egos because they're cool guys, right? It's not uncommon. I don't know if that's the case. I don't want to speculate too heavily, but yeah, like if you're a VIP military helicopter, you might have an ego.
Maverick.
Yeah. It could be. That's a possibility. Absolutely.
The crash with the two 747s, what was it in Spain? That was the biggest aircraft crash ever. Where was it exactly? Was it in
I know
Spain?
a lot of crashes, but I'm not familiar with this one.
I
do
know
watch
a
Mayday.
lot, but not that one. That's the one I don't know.
No, it was 2 Boeing 747s that were like fully boarded, and I think every single person, both of them deceased, and it was the biggest airplane crash ever.
The Tenerife airport disaster. 77.
Oh, that was it. Tenerife. Yeah, that was
77.
it.
I might know about that. I'll have to Get back up.
It was Pan Am and I forgot what
KLM.
people with the other.
You
Okay,
know,
KLM. That's right.
it's like, is it just me or is like the 90s like known for making like avionic like crash movies? Like there was always like
Yeah.
the
There's
90s.
No, it is, but I think this crash is the actual idea for it, because I think the case was there that the captain was very stubborn and didn't listen to what his first officer was saying.
There's so many examples of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of
And
the things,
and the planes were delayed because of a lot of fog and thunderstorms and stuff like that.
so they had the
And
get home itis. They just like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
go, want to go.
yeah, and the captain, I think, decided to start anyways, even though they're somewhere on the runway. And that the other 747 was trying to go towards the starting position, so it was crossing the runway, while the other captain just said, "All right, let's go," I guess, without any without confirmation that the runway is free, and nobody could see shit because it was foggy as hell. And the first officer said, "I have a bad feeling about this," and the captain accelerated anyways.
It's very cultural as well in some cases, right? So, the Brits are really bad because they're very hierarchical in that society, right? So like pilots won't talk to the technicians, for instance, or like to the ground crew or whatever. There's I'm a pilot. I think Japan might be similar. Any of those cultures that are very hierarchical can be like that. Now, I am an instructor for this as well. We're supposed to do it twice a year. It's human performance in aviation, and it is federally regulated. And we talk about these things. We talk about whether it's crashes or mishaps. It could be sleep deprivation. That's a big one right now. Is being rested and not making dumb decisions. So we actually sit down. Everyone that's involved in aviation. It could be the person that gives you the parts. It doesn't matter. Everyone involved in aviation twice a year has to take this human performance course, and it's a roundtable discussion. It's like, okay, here's a scenario. We're going to sit down and we're going to work through how would you have reacted, and you kind of bring all your ideas together. It's very, very open and a lot of feedback. And this is what aviation is supposed to do: is sit down and look at these things and do better next, essentially, not to repeat it. And that is also one of the reasons why aviation is so safe, is because once something does happen, we as a community sit down and look at it. Like one of the first things my buddy said to me today when I saw him, he was like, "Oh, did he hear about the crash?" Like us as aviation people, like as soon as something like this happens, the community's talking about it. Like, oh, and it's always like, was it pilot error? Was it mechanical? Is it something a mechanic did? There's all these different variations, variables that could happen, and we all want to know, because at the end of the day, if we're responsible for making an aircraft crash and killing people, not only are we going to go to jail, but like that's on your conscience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is it? Because aircraft travel, I think, is the safest
by
method of transportation in
It
the
is,
world.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
99.8 something percent.
Yeah, it's quite ridiculous how safe it is. It's just when it does happen, unfortunately, there's hundreds of people in some cases, and it's just huge news.
Yeah.
How many accidents do you go by on the road every day? How many times have you almost gotten in an accident or have been in an accident? Like, how many holy fuck moments have you had just driving the road?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just ran that red light. I fell asleep.
Well, I mean, like, for example, automotive accidents probably account for the highest amount of deaths per capita for transportation specifications.
Yeah. And because the statistic is not only counting only car versus car accidents, but also like people that get run over by cars, or bicycle crash, or car drives into motorcycle, or vice versa. Like all that stuff goes into that statistic. So, yeah.
Okay, so I believe this is American stats that I'll bring up. Deaths by transportation mode. Like, I guess we are going dark. Like, just all
It is after dark.
All All
I
right.
don't know.
Excuse me.
We'll just
And-
clip it. We'll clip this and just make it its own separate video because I already timestamped
and
it on
it's
the.
and it's also informative. So
So passenger vehicles, like I had to scroll up here. So latest data 2022. This is deaths per 100 million people. So this is 50-ish million people for passenger vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay. Buses is, I don't know. It's something, but not much. Here, I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in. No, get out of my way, capture. So you can't even see it. But there's like a really tiny blue bar in there.
Yeah.
For aviation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can barely see it.
Yeah, that's the idea. Like
Everything has risk.
Yep.
like
And
yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but isn't it that aviation regulation worldwide gets updated monthly? Like if
Yeah.
they bring out
No tabs. They're
Yeah.
called no tabs. Notice to airmen or air
Yeah.
people now. No taps stuff. Whatever.
And
But
I
yeah.
think like they learn with every single situation. For even if the aircraft has a problem with the AC or stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like,
And there's boards everywhere. Like when
Yeah.
those no tabs come out and it's like directly applies to the operations you have, like they're putting it on the glass of the door that you walk out of. Like it's there. Look at this. You have to look at this.
Yeah.
And like any flight safety types, there's like every AMO, air maintenance organization, has to have like the flight safety board where like all those issues that you have are put up there, whether they're like external or internal to you. Anything that's pertinent will be there. You have special inspections, so that would be like specific to an aircraft type, or like we found an issue. It could be like this. We found that this fuel line was rubbing against this clamp and calling it like it's kind of like a recall in a car. And they're like, you have 30 days to fix this on all your aircraft.
Yeah.
You will, or you will like essentially lose your license to operate.
lose the licensing. Yeah.
Whereas you go to your car mechanic, just good for a couple hundred more miles.
Yeah, it's good for 100 couple miles throw. Because
Feel
it's like,
over
I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? You've seen the videos where like the people like, oh my god, they're putting duct tape on the wing.
It's actually not
Maybe
like
I
the
hate
duct tape that you get at the hardware store.
I hate that argument. Yeah, it's not the duct tape you get at your local grocery store or stuff like that. It's actual good stuff, and number two, it actually helps. And if it was work that wasn't fixable by the duct tape for now, they wouldn't have done it, and your airplane wouldn't have started. And if the airplane wouldn't have started, you said, "Oh man, missed the flight."
So
Just
I'm-
because
Is it called
the flight
speed
got
tape or is it
canceled for-
aviation
We
tape?
we call it 500 mile an hour tape.
Fair enough.
That's kind of the joke, you know? Yeah, she's good for 500 miles. So go. Now there's obviously rules to this as well. And okay, so there's something called the minimum equipment list. From the factory, from the designer, Airbus, Boeing, whoever it is, they will have a list. And this is obviously looked over by the Federal Aviation Administration or whatever your country's administration is. And they will approve this. Everything has to go through approval. And they will say, these are the things that you can fly without, for how long, and how many of that system you have serviceable. So again, like autopilots, you might have 2 autopilots. Yes, you can fly for, let's say, you have 10 days to fix this, but for now you need to get back to home base or finish whatever your route. But within 10 days, you must fix your second autopilot and get it back online. And it's like each aircraft, each country, it's going to be slightly different, each manufacturer, whatever. But like there is a list. You can fly without certain things. The biggest piss off for most people is their in-flight entertainment doesn't work. You can fly without your fucking movies. That's cool. You can do it. You'll be fine.
It sucks, especially if you're going transatlantic like this guy does.
Yeah, but that's like a very obvious example for people that take passengers of a system that doesn't have to be working, has zero effect for the safety of flight.
Hey, me in Europe here, I fly Ryanair, and I don't need.
Yeah,
any
there's no,
sort of entertainment.
but it's also only 45 minutes. So
Yeah, I was gonna say like
No, but-
David, you can get anywhere in Europe within an hour.
dude, it takes 8-hour flight to get across my country.
Yeah.
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 You know?
That's on you, buddy.
No, it's
So-
the
No,
same
but
thing.
no, and there's also like specific like the aircraft like be it Airbus or Boeing or whatever, they also give you a number. Like the landing gear, for example, is can hold up that many landings and stuff like that, and then you have to change it.
Cycles, yeah, duty cycles.
Yep. And
Yeah, you
if
take. We constantly take perfectly good parts off because the time's up.
exactly, and that is why it's so safe as well.
Oh, and the parts aren't cheap.
Oh
Like,
no,
No. Yeah, no. I don't. I could highly imagine that they're not. Like I would say.
Hey,
they'd be
you
like,
you can't fuck around with airplane parts. So
It's
No,
you're
absolutely.
you're about tenfold. A bolt that you get at say your hardware store for $1
Mhm.
in aviation is going to be about $10.
Yeah.
So you think about it. How much does let's look at like the screens, your in-flight entertainment. How much does it cost for a 7-inch screen to buy it on the internet?
Oh,
Like $100 now?
you can buy a cheap one for $5. If
We're not
it's
talking
just
about the cheap ones. We're
that-
talking
that
about the
should
ones.
work.
Just
Oh.
standard tab. I would say $100.
$100.
Standard tablet.
Okay,
Oh.
so $1,000. How many seats are on your 777? 220.
Yeah,
On the
220, about 250.
Oh, 777 isn't that around 300 now with the 777X?
They even think the 87. Yeah, with the extended, but I think it's like it starts at 220. Regardless, hundreds. Let's just use easy numbers here. It's tens of thousands
it's
of
a
dollars.
shit ton of money. It's a
just
shit
for
ton
the
of money.
screen. Just for the screen, tens of thousands of dollars. That's
Yeah,
not
by
the
the way-
computer that controls it all, because that's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And we aren't even talking about carbon fiber composite.
We're not even getting that
It's
far.
not okay. And when you're talking about like carbon fiber construction, there's the material cost, but not any old asshole can work on that. You
No.
need a very highly
Oh,
trained
yeah.
individual to
Yeah.
do that.
And,
That you're
and-
paying a
and
shit
the-
ton of money.
Hey.
You know.
And the production, the time it consumes, and the cost for carbon fiber is crazy.
So we have a very and it broke. I'm in charge of like purchasing the new tools and like the oils and petroleum products and all that shit from my company. So I'm kind of in the know with how much shit costs. We have it because the helicopters are small and relatively simple. It's an older one. There's not much carbon fiber. We have a very, very basic like heat con, it's called, like a heat controlled to cure the resins in the carbon fiber, essentially. That box, which is basically a vacuum pump with the heat element, is $50,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a lot.
Pretty much every piece of test equipment you have is gonna be anywhere between like $30,000 and $100,000.
Mhm.
Just the test equipment. And you have to have a couple of them at least, because if one breaks, you can't just be like, oh, can't do it, boss. Sorry, I can't fix the plane.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, sorry, boss. Just costed you a few. Because could you imagine too? Like, what would be the average ticket price that you? Because like obviously there's got to be some margin of profit that they make off of ticket sales, but like,
Yes.
I mean, what's the average plane ticket, right? Like, if you're going overseas, it's easily 1,000 plus.
Yeah. Well, for Americans, you have it a bit cheaper. It's probably a couple thousand,
It
1,500.
depends for us. It depends on how far out you purchase your ticket. Like that
There's so
changes,
many
like,
variables.
so
But like at
many-
least $1,000, let's say, to go
so
overseas.
many- Yeah,
It depends from here, Germany to New York, for example, we get them around $400 to $500. Like flying to New York.
I can't get within my own country for that much unless
So,
like
you know what?
I'm going Ottawa to Toronto, which
And
is
by the way,
200 kilometers.
people are still crying here because of flight prices. So
No, they're nuts. They're nuts here.
Let me do a quick rapid experiment here. Oh wow, surprisingly it's no. Oh yeah, it's all the way out in March. That's why. But here, I pulled up Google
Nice.
Flight and like here, just me flying from Detroit to Albania. Just do a quick ticket. So like for example, right now if I were to go March 23rd till April, I'm looking at $694 through multiple airlines.
I want to
If
say I
were to
paid
change it,
$1,300 to go to Macedonia last year.
so let's say that I go January 31st and then my return day is like, fuck it, February 7th. $2K.
Yeah.
the Turkish Airlines, this one's like you're like laying over the fuck. Like you
Yeah.
are just. So yeah, 20 hours travel time. Like you're pretty much traveling for a whole day.
Yeah, it's a bag drive, and then you lose a day of your holidays.
Pretty much.
But
Yeah, 'cause
Istanbul Airport is nice. I did have to stay there for a couple hours. It wasn't 10 a.m. for me, but it was a 10 a.m. beer in Turkey, and then I went for a Turkish coffee with baklava.
Well, because it's funny because for Detroit, apparently it became a hub for Turkish Airlines, so that's a big thing. Before it used to be Austrian Airlines to fly over
Yeah.
there, but it's crazy because it's funny how like that works, right? So like if I start changing my departure date now, so like let's say that I'm planning to go on vacation in May, and then my return day is going to be, I don't know, fuck it, May 17th, right? And I do this. Oh, well, that's busy season, so yeah, I kind of goofed here, but even then, 1,600, and that's United, Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, and still 19 hours travel time. So, like, I'm wondering, Dave, do you know like when the off-season travel times is? It like March? I would say.
No
In
March
Europe,
break. So no.
in Europe, it's around
February
March.
right now.
No. Off season for Europe is right now until April, and then May until September is the main traveling time, and then from October it's prices are fine again.
Until December.
Yeah. Yeah, then the December time is expensive again, right? But
Yeah.
then again, like from January to
Yeah,
April
probably.
again.
Yeah, just look right now.
Yeah.
Do like now to like February or something.
Hey, if you want to, I have right now from Berlin to New York and back.
So right now, looking at this Detroit to Toronto, I'm looking at about 1,000. That's generally
Yeah.
All right. Dash,
generally
do you,
average.
do you want me to top that?
I-
That is from Berlin to New York and back. $358.
You gotta be kidding me, man!
I told you.
You gotta be kidding me!
And by the way, that is with a stop, a 13-hour flight, but here the 8-hour flight with Lufthansa, $399. The actual expensive one, direct flight, $400.
Part of me also thinks that, like, for example, Detroit isn't really much of a hub to travel to Albania. So, like, if I do New York, what if I?
Hold up, let me try.
Oh, now you're really shitting on me, huh?
Hold up.
You know what? Maybe Albania is not the best.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Yeah, because it's about $1,000 for me too. Air Canada
no.
from Toronto. And Toronto's
I don't
expensive.
want to register.
No,
Hey, the cheapest one, although 21. Oh, hold up. It's
I mean,
still
I guess this is a whole thing for the comments. How much does it cost you to get to Albania?
Well, yeah, I know. Let's do that. It's a rap
but,
experiment
hey,
for the comments.
Oh, here, look with KLM 522 from Berlin to Detroit. One stop.
The question is though, is why would anybody want to fly to Detroit?
Because Dash asked so. No, but
So
but it is
I
12 hours from Berlin to Detroit with one stop in Amsterdam because it's KLM. They have
so I just took off my reading glasses. I don't know why. But anyways, I looked up New York to Tirana and $500 to $600.
Okay, go to a place somebody wants to go to. So, Paris.
Okay. Roger that.
By the way, my prediction is it's. Oh, I thought it was going to be
It's not
cheaper.
that bad.
Yeah.
But these are 20+ hour, like the 7-hour try. That's still not bad.
It's just really cheap. Right.
That is ridiculous.
It's cheap. Yeah, it's like 7.6. It's
So,
the same
so
price,
then how about
essentially.
this? So how about this then? What if I did this? So if I did from Paris to Tirana. 292. That's cheaper if I were to go from. Hold on. We're doing a rapid. Damn it. You guys
We're
got
turning
me.
into a travel podcast.
We're turning into a travel podcast. No, it's the same price because from Paris.
Oh
to
my
Detroit.
God, Dash, you
Detroit just sucks. I'm just going to New York if I'm gonna fly out. What the hell, man? This just sucks.
But it's all about the efficiency of having those central hubs as well, right?
Hey, no.
I'm never, hey, family overseas. I'm sorry, I can't fly. I live in a shithole.
Now I just want to trigger Dash from Berlin to Tirana and back. €59.
Ow.
From Berlin to Tirana and back.
Well, what the hell is Wiz?
Wizz Air is, was it Lithuanian or Latvian airline or Bulgarian? So, I'm sorry if I'm confusing the
It's one
Baltic
of those,
countries.
random Eastern European
Well,
countries.
no, it's one of the it's the pink airplanes. Maybe you know them. Hold on.
Let's see, Hungarian. You didn't even
Oh,
say
oh,
Hungarian in that
Balkan.
list.
It's
I
a
did
Balkan
say
airline.
that.
It's a Balkan airline,
Yeah.
of course.
But it's here these pink aircrafts. Oh, but yeah,
we can, we call those.
technically airplane travel in Europe is very cheap.
Well,
And
F1
yeah, you saw,
connection.
yeah.
The
So-
F1 connection in the
Oh, yeah.
airline industry. A lot of airlines out of Austria.
Oh yeah.
Well, is it cheaper to travel by train or by airplane in Europe?
It depends.
Yeah, the regional trains aren't too bad, but like the high-speed rails can get pricey.
Yeah, regional trains, for example, the Deutsche Bahn for the
The
German
DB.
speakers out there. It's one of the it's the most expensive railway travel you can choose, but it's actually really quick and like cross country, it's good. But if you're going or if you're traveling outside of the country or to across Europe, flying is definitely cheaper.
Yeah,
So
because
there-
my older sister, she lives in Belgium and she took a train. She had to do some training in I think it was Frankfurt. So she took the train from Belgium to Frankfurt, and I was like, why don't you just fly? And she's like, I'd just rather take the train.
So you see,
but-
the
but-
trains
but
aren't
the-
bad.
Yeah, no, it's high speed trains.
The trains are nicer than Ryanair, or probably
Yeah.
whatever Wizz
No,
Air is.
That's what I'm assuming.
I agree. I agree with that. It's just, for example, when I'm flying to Spain, there's nothing better than okay. Ryanair is the cheapest, but brother, it's 90 minutes flight, so chill.
Yeah, so you just deal with it. Yeah, it's not a
maximum
big deal.
2 hours. Like just bite the sour apple if that's the
Yeah,
same.
but isn't it
And
more
actually,
entertaining? Isn't it more entertaining to go by train across Europe though?
I love.
It's nice, yeah, no,
I love train travel, but if you want to get across Europe efficiently, it's the airplane is the way.
It
But
depends what you're doing, though.
No, but if I'm going to the Netherlands, for example, train is the it's
Yeah,
the easiest way. Just pack your stuff, put it in the train, and you can be on your tablet, your phone, or notebook, the whole drive, and it will feel like nothing. And it's the most comfortable, and you have actual space. If you take one of the good ICE trains.
Yeah,
the thing is,
Go ahead, Dave.
is like everything's so close. So as an example, and you can get passes. That's where it starts to get cheaper too. I got passes. I think it was a couple €100 at the time. And it was like this many countries over this many days. And I think I had like 5 countries over a week. So I literally went to a country every single day and it's just like, okay, hop on the plane or train, hop on the train. And because the train schedules, there's basically one every couple of hours, you can really schedule that tourism hopping as you wish.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things that sucks about the United States is the railroad travel, right? Because like it's just Amtrak and it's like those old school diesel. It's like the diesel engines, right? There's not like anything
There's
fancy about
North
it.
America has no high speed.
Yeah, there's no high speed, and it's scenery wise. Like I'm going to tell you this. I think like traveling across Midwest America on rail, despite that you're only going, I can't convert it off the top of my head, but 80 miles an hour, which is like what 120 kilometers, about something like that.
Maybe, yeah,
130. So like you're moving at 130, and that's the thing that again, it just like the scenery is phenomenal. The thing that sucks is that there is so many stops.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's why I had this picture up here. So this is the Dutch or Deutschland DB.
The Deutsche Bahn. Yeah.
Yeah. So this red one here is going to be your regional,
Right.
and it's slower and it stops everywhere, but it's also pretty cheap. This one is more the high speed. Now ICE is intercity express, but the express means it's going point.
Exactly.
Trains, because they're so big and heavy, they take miles to get up to speed. So the stop and go is what really kills the train travel. But if you just boom 200 kilometers an hour, man, you're there so quick.
Yeah. If you take one of those ICEs, yes, it's inner city express, but I think it's called that because the original plan was to connect the German cities, and now it has just become they're going to Paris, to Amsterdam, and places like
Yeah, it's
that.
expanded out.
To Zurich in Switzerland. Like they're actually like going to the neighbor countries of Germany as well. For example, uh, that's now maybe 2 decades ago. I was very, very, very young, and we took the ICE to Switzerland, and we were there in about 6 or 7 hours, which is about the same as no, it was a bit quicker than the car because we were driving over 200 kilometers per hour. But in addition to that, I don't think I saw more beautiful scenery than driving by the Swiss Alps with that
Oh,
train.
I
Mhm.
bet. Oh,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
bet.
that was amazing, and it was in the winter time. It was snowy and stuff like that. That was I
So-
think the
So you get
most fun and beautiful travel I had.
the Airbnb overlooking the Alps on a balcony with some hot chocolate.
I need one
Instagram.
of those, man. I
You just
need
got to take you just got to take a
like
picture just bare naked with your butt cheeks, just standing
Yeah.
up looking over the Swiss Alps.
Yeah.
So we have something that's very cool. I've always wanted to do it, but it's expensive because it's Canada, so everything is. We have what's called the Rocky Mountaineer, which I think starts in Calgary and just goes through the mountains, like over to
Yeah,
Alberta. Like, look at those scenes, man. Like that. Just the Rockies there in the background, just beautiful. I mean,
they've got Amtrak.
I've flown through it, and it's like, I obviously being a helicopter guy and being able to fly through these things. Oh my god, it's just go whether it's the Alps or the Rocky Mountains or the Himalaya, man, go through the mountain.
Yeah, to be honest with you folks, like viewers, like I recommend you take train travel. Like it is probably, especially like for example, if you're going with somebody and even if you're going by yourself, man. But like train travel is probably. Some people argue and say it's stressful. I don't. I think it's probably more relaxing.
It's
not.
less stressful
No.
than air travel.
It's less. If you get to the train and put all your stuff, bags and everything in there, and you can just forget it for the next couple of hours, I don't think there's anything
No.
more comfortable than
Yeah.
train.
Well, and
Now
then even
what gets stressful
hey,
though?
the seats are more comfortable. You have way more space. You have tables in front of you. Like
you have
at
a
least
dining
here in
car.
Germany,
You have a
I
dining
don't.
car. If you're
Yeah.
doing overnight, you have like a full like small
Yeah.
room suite that's dedicated to you
Yeah.
as well too.
Yeah.
Even like for example, if you're like a backpacker or like someone that's just going out west, like
Yeah.
stopping at those small little train stations in the Midwest is probably one of the coolest things ever. Like you stop at it, explore the town for like, whatever your rollover time is, and you get back on the train. Like I'm telling you, if you have time to burn, right? If you are on sabbatical for a month and you got the time to like go somewhere for a week and a half or 2 weeks where your vacation isn't like defined by certain parameters, where it's just like, hey, I've got a month off. I'm going to take a train from Detroit, go to New York, and then go from New York to Los Angeles or something like that, right? And you're spending time in all those stops as you're going through. Because, like, again, when a train stops at a station, it's not stopping there for like a half hour or an hour. It's there for like 4 to 5 hours sometimes, whether it's, crew changes, reshifting, or whatever. So, like, it gives you time to kind of explore that little Midwestern town. And it's just, I think if you're looking from like a traveling perspective, it's incredible. If you want, again, to really experience Europe, I think that's probably one of the better ways to experience Europe is by train.
Well, here's the great thing too, though. Like even if you fly in, and I did this in Zurich when I had my stopover going to Macedonia last year, is I had basically a 12-hour stopover. So many of these bigger European cities, even some of the smaller ones, the train, like you just walk out of the terminal onto the train, get into the city, tour, go, spend a day in the city.
Yeah.
But talking about being less stressful, I'll tell you what was stressful this one time. I started in Frankfurt. I was going to Amsterdam. So where's my Frankfurt?
Frankfurt
Right
a bit
here.
more right.
Right here.
Yeah.
Here's Frankfurt.
Right
So stop in Cologne. Beautiful city. Got to see that church from the train.
Yeah, Cologne is beautiful. Like you
As
can
you-
can spend the whole weekend there.
You guys are making me homesick. I need to take my ass back home.
Do
I'm
it, man.
serious.
But as you can see, it's sort of a crossroads, right? You can go left to Liège into Belgium, Brussels, right? You can go up to Essen and Dortmund. Obviously, I was going north all the way up to Amsterdam. Well, there's like, I can't remember, it was 4 or 5 different tiers that I had to run up, but I had 4 minutes because this is the German train system. Yeah, you have, when they say you have 4 minutes, you have 4 fucking minutes to get to the next train. But there's like 4 levels of stairs you got to run up to get to that one that goes to Amsterdam. So you're there just booking it, trying to, and like you're out of breath, the doors are closing behind you. So there are moments in this system where you're fucking stressed out.
Yeah. When you try to catch connecting trains, that I guess then it can be a bit stressful. That's right. But honestly, there's nothing more comfortable than when you have just a normal train schedule. You hop in. For example, I am planning to do that at some time this year because we have a new line connection between Berlin and Paris that got introduced in October. And that takes you to Paris in about, what was it, 6 or 7 hours? Which by car is 15. So I want to do that for a weekend, for example, because I haven't gone to Paris yet. And
it's I mean, spend a day, say you've been there, it's whatever.
And that's something I consider. It's $120 back and forth, I think.
Not horrible.
Not bad at all.
So it's not too bad. Like, why
There's
not? I'm going to try that. And like I said, it's comfortable even in the in class B seats. You have a big table in front of you. That's mandatory in the ICE. But
And they all have like Wi-Fi and everything now too. plugins for
you
your
have
phones.
everything there. You have Wi-Fi there. There's
They have the bars, like the cafe.
specific diner wagon. Is it called
Yeah.
wagon in English? Yeah. You have
Car.
everything.
We say car.
You even have hey, if you need a shower, there are showers.
Yeah. No, the train travel is great, and that's what I love about Europe is the transportation. You don't need to really leave the town or city that you're in because everything's typically there, what you need. But then if you want to, again, like that time I was in Malaga, that's when I went to Seville to watch that football game I've talked about a couple times. It was literally like, hey, there's a footy game tomorrow. Tickets cost whatever it was, like $80 both ways, round trip, whatever. And it was like, hey, you want to go? So we went.
So, for example, for my Spain trip, I paid 70 euros for my Ryanair flight to the airport of Alicante, which is 2 hours driving away from Valencia. So it was the southern region of Spain. So I paid that for my travel, and I rented a car, which in Spain, by the way, is cheap to rent a car for 10 days. Was it? I paid about 100 euros. For
you pay like $100 a day here.
Yeah,
at least.
And it was actually cheap, and that's where I did where I went for the last weekend to the Valencia game. I had 2 hours road trip. I even did a 4 hours to Madrid and 4 hours back because I wanted to see Madrid at one point. But the travel in Europe it's pretty easy. Like, flights are relatively cheap. Trains are like for the comfort you have when you drive
you just can't afford your house.
Yeah. Houses are hard to afford, but everything else, honestly, it's fine.
Well, okay, so planes, trains, automobiles.
Nope, they suck. They suck.
Yeah. Honestly, for travel, if it's not too far, or you make a whole road trip out of it, then it's fine. But like,
but you gotta do it with a rental car. You can't do it with your own vehicle.
For example, if it's a 10-hour drive, it can get exhausting because you're doing a couple of stops, but you're not actually relaxing. We did a road trip, for example, 1.5 years ago, but already crazy, from Berlin to Croatia. It would have been 15 to 20 hour drive, but we did on the way to Croatia, we did a stop, for example, in Prague, like in Czech Republic for a fortnight, and then drove to Croatia. And then on the way back, we stopped at Zagreb, and then drove from Zagreb straight to Berlin.
And that's why I've always wanted to do the Balkan road trip, because there's so many countries.
So many stops.
Just
So
right
many
there.
stops.
Yeah, I just always
So
wanted to get in a
many
car and
stops.
just go up like one side and down the other and just hit everything.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Dude.
For example, when we were in Croatia, like you could have gone to Bosnia as well. Like you can drive like straight through Bosnia when you're in Croatia.
Well, when I was in Albania, I was literally on the border with Greece and Albania. Like all three countries, I could have went essentially, you know. Kosovo like was a few minutes. So I my buddy thought that I needed like special permissions
to go into Albania.
So if you're an outsider, like non-European or whatever, so with Macedonia specifically, because they're not part of the European Union, but some of these other countries are, you got to go to the police station and fill out a form for like each. We misunderstood. There was confusion. Turns out we could have done it. Buddy played it safe, and we didn't do it.
No, of course
you didn't want to lose a kidney. You didn't want to lose a kidney.
It's just when you drive by car, you have to get vignettes and stuff like that to have allowance to take the highways and stuff like that. But technically, on travel, you can't travel through across the borders.
But like with getting into Greece, because it was just straight European Union, it's just like, yeah, I'm Canadian, and European Union. Canada's pretty easy.
Welcome in there, bud.
Yeah, it's not like being within the Schengen zone, they call it. It's not like that, but it's still like, okay, okay. Is it? But like, okay, you're Canadian. What are you doing? Okay, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So my business partner at the restaurant, he has family in New York, and he drives. So there's been times where he's driven from here to New York, and it's like a 10-hour drive, and I just look at him and it's like, dude.
I was driving between here and Halifax, and that's 16 to 17-hour drive. So
how do you do it?
Well, yeah, hate your life. You get a couple of Red Bulls and you fucking drive.
Honestly, if it's a 16-hour drive, I'm doing a stop for a night. Honestly,
sometimes you don't have that option. So the one time it was, and because Canada's fucked and so big, it was during COVID, and the Atlantic provinces think they're kind of special, and they do their own thing, and they make their own little bubble, and that's what they call it, the Atlantic bubble. So if you were within, say, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, those Atlantic provinces, you can kind of travel within that. But if you came from outside, and especially Ontario, because we're a bunch of dirty bastards from the city, no, buddy. My option was, so I had already driven about 12 hours. I got to the Atlantic border there in New Brunswick, driving through Quebec. You have to, that's the worst part, getting through French land. And then he basically said, well, where are you coming from? I told him, oh, as soon as he said it, because I was a dirty Ontario guy. He's like, you can either drive back to Rivière du Loup, which is Wolf River in French, which is an hour back, or you drive straight through to your home, which was another like 4 or 5 hours. But it was already midnight.
But did you have enough gas, though?
Well, he's like, you can't stop. I'm like, okay, for once, I don't have enough gas. And two, if I die in a ditch, this is on you. So I just stopped at the first gas station, filled up, got a couple of Red Bulls. I'm like, fuck it, let's go.
So, like, how would they enforce it? Were they just following you or something?
So,
or what?
No, so the hotels.
Oh.
They would register you. Because of COVID, they were registering
then you'd
your
be fine with it.
locations.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And the problem is that hotel is where all the border guards were staying because they were working that border. Yeah. So you would literally be staying at the same hotels that the guys that were busting. So you kind of just had
sleep in the parking
lot. Too good.
Yeah, that was a weird time.
See, I don't have that much. Like, for example, because I'm not going to northern Michigan. If I go to northern Michigan, that's like a 7-8 hour drive. But like for me, if I'm going to the west side of the state, it's like 3 hours tops. So like, it's not that much of a haggle for me driving. Granted, I think the longest road trip, like in a vehicle that I've ever taken, is one. I wasn't even driving; I was in a bus. It was to Traverse City, which is like one of the northernmost points of Michigan on the Lower Peninsula. because I had to go up there for a conference. So I was on a bus. They put me on a bus, and it was like a 5-hour drive up north for that. I heard if you go to the most northern point of Michigan, it's like a 10-hour drive. Like it's like Iron
Oh
Mountain.
yeah, you're in like northern Ontario at that point too.
Yeah, it's called Copper Harbor. So if you were to go from Detroit to Copper Harbor, it would take 8 to 10 hours.
It's
I don't know
snowy
why,
out
but
that way.
it sounds nice.
It is.
Oh,
It is actually really nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
northern Michigan is beautiful. Like it is
It's
one of
all
the most-
lakes. It's all lakes and
it-
hills and
yeah.
stuff.
It's all wildlife. See if I can get you a quick little image. But yeah, it's and it's the thing. It's like a tradition for a lot of Michiganders is like we all own property up north that we all go up to in the summer.
The
But
cottage.
The
Yeah,
cottage.
it's beautiful.
It's Wisconsin tries to say that it's actually a part of them, and it's not. So
But you can see like the border there, like Canada is literally just right there,
yeah.
northern Ontario.
So
And
then you
yeah,
have
Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, so I've been in that area.
Yeah, that would be the border crossing. right there for a
Mackinac,
while.
yeah, Mackinac City.
The
They
island.
got,
So the
KHL
Mackinac
team.
Island. Yeah. What is it? Mackinac Island doesn't have any vehicles at all besides like the island inhabitants. It's mostly like bicycles and horse and buggy.
And everything's an indigenous name too. Once you get in those, like where I live, it's all indigenous names.
Yeah. The fudge is really good too. Let's see if I can get you some images. But yeah, generally that's the
That is a nice spot.
it is the Yoopers.
And
But
that's the one thing with like living in either, northern Michigan or Montana or Canada. Like, yeah, everything's so far away and it's expensive as a result, but just the land, the openness, the nature.
Yeah.
That's something you don't get in Europe. Not
Well,
to that level.
the crazy thing was like I almost lived up here when I was going to college because there's a university. So it's one of the best engineering schools in the country. They offered me a scholarship to go up there, but again,
Of all those beavers, isn't it? All the engineering beavers.
Michigan Tech. So this one's all the way up in Houghton, and it's like, so if I were to show you maybe on a map here. So like Michigan Tech is all the way up there. Towards
And I like how
the
they're
northern-
called the Huskies because they're like, oh, we're so north.
Yeah.
Like, there's like thousands of kilometers still, bud. But good try, America.
But yeah, it's again that place is like all the way up there, and it's like right by essentially pretty much on Lake Superior too. And like they would tell me about like how many feet of snow they would get on average. But yeah, one of the best universities for engineering. But my hipster ass went to U of M, unfortunately. Fortunately, I can't say that out loud. They'll probably say, like, "You're not an alumni anymore. You're talking too much smack."
Well, I sort of did the same thing for my schooling, which avionics, of course. Yeah, I stayed in the city in Toronto, and not even the shitty part of the city is where the school was. And I had the option of going to a better school up in North Bay, which is another 2 hours from where I live now. So it was like, I can't remember, 6 hours from Toronto. It was there, and I mean that was far for a kid that hasn't left his mother's teat yet, right? So I stayed close to home. And in hindsight, maybe not the greatest decision, but those are things you do when you're young.
You want to end on that as like the final discussion topic, because I think that's an interesting thing that you bring up, because it's like you look at it like where people talk about like, moving out of the home or getting out of the house and stuff like that, or like is it like, for example, is it detrimental to a person's development? Like, for example, living on their own versus being, responsible and still staying at home, because there's that kind of like knife's edge, right? Where it's like you can look at people that moved out and are living on their own and still are immature as hell. Sorry, doll. Don't mean to bring up the ice cream analogy for you, but and then there's like people that have stayed home that are responsible with it. It's kind of it's an interesting dynamic that like I wonder.
Personality.
Yeah, do you think it is personality wise?
It has some of it. So, I mean, initially, and you can use me as an example to kind of have a comparison. So initially, out in terms of the schooling, I stayed home. And, my parents were typical Catholic Italians, very, homey, protective, stay Italian mothers and their sons. You understand. So that was one of the reasons I didn't want to leave initially. And because I had never broken that seal, I didn't know any better. So I stayed home. And, it wasn't a bad experience, but it's not the same experience as, say, a year after I finished college. And I couldn't find any jobs in Toronto because it's a hyper-competitive market and everything's a union and you need to know a guy. So I had to move away. So I moved 2.5 hours down the road, closer to London, Ontario, Southwest. And like 2.5 hours away from me at that point, from my perspective, was forever away. But all of a sudden, I had bills to pay. I had to pay the rent. I had to pay, the gas, the internet, the fucking everything. I had to pay the everything.
I was gonna say I gotta pay my gas bill in a couple of days, damn it.
And you go from basically having everything on a platter for you to you just gotta figure it out. You just gotta learn to be an adult all of a sudden. And it wasn't until then, honestly, that I was able to start becoming a proper adult. Because before I was too sheltered. And you look back and you see, let's use the, Italian mama's boys again. You see these guys you went to high school with or whatever, and they're still sucking off the teat of their mom. It's like you have kids now. Like I have one buddy, for instance, that, he works, he's busy. And it's like, oh, my mom's here. My mother-in-law's not here, whatever. Oh, they're not here to help. What am I going to do? My parents aren't here to help me. It's like, you're the one that fucking put it in her pants. Deal with it, man. You're an adult now. Like, this is how this works, is you deal with your shit.
And I wonder if that's like a European thing, right? Because like, for example, it's the same thing with me, right? Immigrant parents, German Dave, I don't know about you, but
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say
immigrant
like,
parents,
because like, is that like that's an interesting like discussion, right? Because it's almost kind of like, and is it like a European parent thing for them to be like up in your grill? Like, for example, like even if you're married and you have kids and they're like, oh, you should be doing it like this or like that or yada yada yada. Because it's like, for me, it's kind of like an interesting thing, right? Because like, for example, Albanians are super conservative as far as like family values and traditions and whatnot. It's Balkans. That's how the Balkans are. And then it's like I come here and I move here and everyone's kind of like, hey, yeah, you're do your own thing, like fuck off in a sense. And it's just like I'm kind of like in that thing where it's just like the independence is good, but then the extreme independence is not so bueno. But then like, for example, you have the dependence where you're dependent on your parents, and then it's like that's not good either. So it's kind of trying that fine line in the middle. And I think that's the thing where it's kind of funny because the Albanian community kind of calls me whitewashed more so because again, I don't really have the accent. I drive a pickup truck and I wear vests and flannels, right? I'm kidding, but it's because
I'm German and I do that. not the pickup truck, but
it's kind of one of those things where it's interesting because it's almost like, when you listen to different people's stories or how they kind of talk about certain aspects of like, how they do things. And it's like, I look at it and it's like, dude, you kind of have that sense of self where you're able to do stuff without like, like for example, the helicopter parent, right? Where you have like, you go out and you're doing something and they're texting you. Where are you at? Are you coming home? What are you doing? Why are you there? How are you doing this? Yada, yada, yada. And it's like, I've seen it done to people that are in their 30s.
You know how an Italian is a helicopter parent? They go wop, 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 wop.
Because that's where I find it interesting is just because like, for example, and obviously I'm not a parent, right? So I don't know from personal experience that I know of. No, but it's just like, is that like a normal thing where like, for example, a parent will sit there and berate their 30-year-old offspring, 30-plus-year-old offspring, or even 40s, hell, even if they have their own family where it's just like they're monitoring them? Like, is that like just like an anxious attachment thing, or is that just like generally European parents in general?
look
Not
how
even
it
just
was
European.
how it was for me. It's not European, it's just Turkish conservative. Like we are Christians that live in Turkey, Syria, and northern Iraq, for example. So that is where our group of people is coming from.
Would it be the
So-
Coptic sect?
No, Coptics are from Egypt. We are Syriac Orthodox Christians.
That's the Syrian Orthodox. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, and Coptics are very close in belief to us. So
Yeah. So that's where my confusion was.
yeah, and our parents, because we are not welcome in that area, and there have been genocides that I don't want to go into specifically.
Like the Balkan Wars, we won't talk about those.
There's a
And,
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of bad stuff.
And our grandparents moved over to Europe because Germany had an immigrant contract with Germany had an immigrant contract with Turkey to let workers in around the 50s or 60s, I believe.
Mhm.
And that is where our grandparents came here to Germany to get to find work, basically, because salaries and everything were better here, of course, than
So hold on. When you say Germany in the 50s, are we talking about East or West?
Western Germany.
Yeah.
They needed, because they
E-
brought in a bunch of people because they needed to rebuild.
Exactly. And there we made the contract, and they came over to Germany specifically, and from Germany spread out to across Europe, or Central Europe, so to speak. And because they made it to Germany, found work, and made a living here, they're that conservative that they think they know everything, and that's why they try to get into your life as well, change you, and to form you like they need you. For us, you're by belief and by tradition, you're only allowed to move out of the household when you're about to marry, when you find basically
It's the
your
same with us.
new home. Before that, you have to stay with your parents. And how it was for me is I studied in Frankfurt Oder. It's not the Frankfurt everybody knows. It's a different Frankfurt.
Yeah, the one's Frankfurt Mainz. Frankfurt
Frankfurt am Main.
My
And
German's
the other one
trash,
is
but sorry.
and the other one is Frankfurt Oder. That's literally the Polish border. And I had my law school there, or university where I studied law, because it's one of the better ones in Germany. And it was 90 by car about an hour to 90 minutes away. And I drove there every day with the train, 2 hours to university and 2 hours back, like every single day for the first semester. And I told my parents, I can't do this travel anymore. Like I
And they're like,
move on. And they were shocked, dude. And
you've been westernized.
Yes, and all that talk and everything. And then until the day I moved out, they didn't allow it, and I have to do it. Like the second semester starts in 2 weeks. Like I have to go over and bring my stuff over there. Until that day, my parents weren't accepting of it, and then they slowly, when my grades got better, because I didn't have to travel for hours a day, dude.
Yeah,
I had
once they
more time
see-
to study and to. Once they see the results, they say, all right, it wasn't the right
Yeah.
decision. But my mom still to this day is telling me, oh, you changed at that time. You moved out
Oh my
of the
God, it's
house.
always
Yes,
the mom. It's always
yes,
the mom.
it's always you change, because I got more of an extrovert. I started like talking and sometimes voicing my opinion. You moved out of the house, and the Germans immediately.
And now you're
got
on the
into
internet
your
giving
head.
us your
Yeah,
opinion.
now you're on the internet and you're an internet personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because like it's always like a thing too, because like an Albanian friend of mine, she was telling me, she's like, I swear to God, there's like this weird attachment with mothers and Albanian sons, and I'm like, I know,
It's
it's
everybody.
everywhere.
It's every Eastern European or Eastern.
It's probably everyone but like America and Canada.
Probably.
And
No, I don't think UK. I don't think UK and Spain.
UK, Commonwealth.
Germans get out of the house quickly, man.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just-
the Germans.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
I am out of here.
Dude, they don't fuck around. They finished 10th grade.
Well, let's not forget that the English and the Germans, were crossbreeding there for a while. All right, so like maybe there's something going on.
Master race.
Jesus.
But you know, so like the crazy thing about it though is it's just like, do you think though, German Dave, do you think that kind of gave a rise to like, I don't want to say a toxic masculinity, but like more of like an emasculated male population because of that? Because it's like there was a time where like it was, now I feel like now, I don't want to say I feel, from an observational standpoint, I think it's like a lot of men have been ridiculously coddled from stuff like that.
Oh yeah, a lot of
To the
dudes
point
can't deal
to-
with their shit.
Exactly, to the point where like, and this is where I kind of want to devolve this conversation here, and before you guys like chat GPT me and make fun of me and call me a robot, but like there's this like philosophy, right? There's a philosophy towards like how you go about life. It's playing to win and playing not to lose. Like we've talked about this from a tactical perspective.
Yes.
So it's like now where it's like this generation of men have been coddled to the point where they don't really know how to play to win because they've never gone out and experienced it. Where now it's more so that psychologically they're in a sense where it's like, I'm playing not to lose.
Is it just men though? Because there's definitely daddy's girls.
I think so too, but like I again, I'm not a female, so I can't talk from reference experience.
And you don't
with
talk to
women.
females, or they don't talk to you either one.
I was gonna say I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. Damn, I'm just getting things.
Dave is a menace, man. First my mac and cheese, and now there's hypothetical girlfriend.
I was gonna say Dash's love life is shit, according to Dave. But the reason why I'm saying it is because, like, for example, if you're provided everything and you have everything and you never really had to go out on your own to acquire something or battle for something, it kind of puts you in that play to not lose, right? Because you don't understand the effect of I've got nothing left, I don't have anything there, or yada yada yada. Where I've seen that, and I think it's kind of taken a shift where it's like from the guy's perspective is that I've seen a lot of males play this not to lose mindset. And granted, I was guilty of it to an extent, right? Like hell,
I was until I went to university. I was as well.
It took me, and the interesting thing about it is it took me fumbling catastrophically bad for me to sit there and be like, okay,
That's the key.
and that's it, right? But the issue is because this group of men have been coddled, and mom or whatever figure. I don't want to sit there and just discriminate, but like they're protected, so they've never understood the feeling of falling flat on your face,
They have
and then you go
the
out.
safety net.
The safety net, exactly. Where because like for example, and this is my personal perspective, but if I'm doing something and someone like steps in and interferes and says I'm interfering for the sake of protecting you, that pisses me off. Because it's like, unless it's like, for example, like if I'm asking for feedback and it's like, okay, Dash, here's reasons why you shouldn't go down this path. Think about it. That's a different conversation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's the don't be dumb conversation.
Yeah, that's the don't be dumb, right?
Hey,
go ahead.
No, as soon as you give me arguments, pros and cons, I will listen to what you say.
Yes.
But if your point is just don't do it, why should I stop? Let me try. If I fail,
Well, you're gonna go harder. That's the
it's not even that. Like I'm taking it a step further. I'm saying, like, for example, say that I'm dating somebody, right? And both of you guys automatically interfere and sabotage the relationship behind the scenes. And then I find out after the fact. And then you guys both tell me, oh, I did this out of benefit to protect you.
Yeah, no, that's
where I'm
ethically. That's the ethics question there.
Yeah,
that is shitty and backstabbing, because I could have had a face-to-face conversation with you. And if you don't want to listen what I'm saying, brother, I'm your friend. I'm giving you advice. If you don't listen to it, like,
it's your decision.
you have to.
You have to
coddle people don't want to hear it though.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they don't get told bad things.
Well, exactly, but that's what I'm saying though. But like, because it's like, for example, they are being coddled to the point where I think again it goes into that mentality where, because like if you look at like the social culture dynamics right now, chat GPT term, but if you look at like the dynamics of how things are now, and it's just like you look at the shift, and it's like I look at it from recognizing from what I see, and it's almost looking like at it as this huge play to not lose, where it's like playing to win is something that's absolutely terrifying to people, because I think maybe playing to win is going out and taking that shot or going out and doing something per se, where you're kind of like, I don't want to take that risk. I don't want to do that, because at the end of the day, and I think when you look at it, and maybe again from my life journey and whatnot, I can see it from a different perspective, but it's like, dude, like, why not? You're not, like, for example, you're going to die anyways. I'm not saying make some stupid decisions, right? Some regretful decisions, but like if you're sitting there and you're fretting on something that isn't really life or death, where it's like, should I go outside my comfort zone? Should I take this or should I go this direction? Respectfully, safely, of course. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, you can't grow without
You can't.
going outside the comfort zone. Like if you want to go back to, and this is for Dal, and all the guys that hit the gym, right? You have to feel like you have to get to like a failure point per se, right? Like you can't just pick up the 20s your whole life. Like if you don't like inch up and get the 25s or the 30, you'll never get better.
Yes. Well, what I wanted to get into is taking a bit of notes from last week where we went into a comfort zone as well, and connect that to the topic right now. If you are, and I speak only specifically for men because I can't 100%.
We don't know women. I'm sorry. If you're a lady and you're listening to us, I'm sorry. I can't.
Trump says there's only two genders, and you're clearly one of them.
Yeah. No, I know about the experience from my fiance, for example, and I could tell you about that, but it still doesn't do justice to what she actually like feels like. No, but talking about men, for me, it is depending on the character again. For example, if I didn't, I could have gone to a law school here in Berlin, which isn't as regarded as the one I went to, or I could have gone to a law school like anywhere else, and my Bachelor of Laws wouldn't mean the same as it does. So doing that and moving out of the house for my rest semesters was a good decision. But you only do that if you go out of your comfort zone. And that's how I got the chance to work for a football club and do a sports management degree as well, because I took that step. So in order to get higher successes, and yeah, of course you can't be okay with the position you are in if you don't aim for something bigger, and it's on you to judge what the heights are you want to reach. Then for some you can't stay in the comfort zone. You don't have to move out of the house until your parents maybe throw you out or you become old enough to take that step. But if you want to reach higher goals, you have to go out of your comfort zone. And I have the feeling that a lot of this generation doesn't dare those steps and doesn't dare taking risks.
And we're not talking about the comfort zone. Like I'm in discomfort right now because I've been holding a piss for a couple hours. We're not talking about that. That's just bad for your bladder.
Yeah. No, no, that's not what we mean. But it's like character development stuff. Like
what is it? Canon event? That's what these people like saying nowadays. It's a canon event.
Yeah.
Never heard that one.
No,
yet.
but in order to reach certain goals, you have to go outside of your comfort zone. You have to take risks. And if not, I was lucky enough to have the safety net of my parents if I had failed, but thankfully I didn't. Of course, you have always,
and that's fine.
You have always missteps. For example, I failed every single exam in my first semester, and I had to redo them in the second and third. And brother, it was hell learning for all of that, but I somehow got through. And you learn from stuff.
It's the difference of picking you up when you fall, as opposed to always keeping the training wheels on. Like your parents, your family, your friends. Yes. You can ask for help. They can be there to help you, and that's important to have that.
Yes.
But you have to fail for them to intervene. Essentially, don't just let them like, oh no, you're about to fall. Don't do that.
No. Yeah, and it's for me, it's like too, right? I kind of got hit with something like a couple months ago, right? And that's where like, I changed career. Well, I didn't change careers, but like I kind of went out of something that was extremely comfortable for me. And shout out to her. She's like, again, she's an older sister of mine and she's in Europe. So she'll be back soon. I'll catch up with her when she flies back to the States. But I had a conversation with, and again, I had a conversation with her prior to when she flew to Europe. And this was, I want to say, early September, mid-September. I just finished a large project. I won an award for it. I finished this huge project that, I had a 5% success rate. Like it was a 5% success rate going into it. Made the impossible happen. I'm running high off of confidence and I'm like feeling amazing. Like, fuck yeah, you know, I'm awesome. I'm this and that. And I got back and then I got hit with like this dose of reality where I'm like, it felt good for 5 seconds and that was it. And then it kind of hit. Yeah, it was the dopamine hit, right? Where it was just like, because then I kind of sat there and I'm like, where am I going to go now? Like, what's after? Where am I going? And like for me, and that's where like, and I remember chatting with my older sister here, and she was like, I think you're keeping your hands behind your back because you're comfortable. And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Because personality wise, I'm competitive. I like to challenge myself and stuff like that. She's like, yeah, but I don't think I've seen you like, you know, she's like, it's been maybe 7 or 8 years since I've actually seen you get like genuinely serious and try to push the envelope. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm still, you know, I'm exercising, I'm doing this, I'm doing the podcast with you guys, I'm doing stuff. And it's just like
pushing the envelope on the dive.
Yeah, pushing the envelope on the dive. But it was interesting because she was kind of like, I feel like she's like, you've become kind of a down player. And I'm like, what does that even mean? So then like I kind of sat there and I thought about it. And you know, obviously for the folks at home, downplaying is kind of like, oh Dash, you did this. And you're like, yeah, cool. All right, no problem. And there's like a thing with being humble to the point where if you overdo it, you kind of start to deteriorate your self-worth to an extent.
Yeah.
And that's where I think I didn't realize it until recently because like, oh yeah, because when I started my career, I was the kid. I was the kid of the group. And then, you know, as the years went on, you know, you get notoriety, you gain merit and yada, yada, yada. And I got to the point where, again, I was, you know, one of the main guys of the department. But mentally, I was still treating myself as the kid that just walked into the door. So, like, for example, when it came to promotions or networking or selling myself, I was terrible at it because I still was like, oh, I'm this raw kid that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
But that's just part of growing up and getting experience as well and having that confidence to move ahead.
But and then it goes back to what I was saying. At the time I was playing not to lose. Oh, maybe I shouldn't ask for this promotion. Oh, maybe I shouldn't ask for this career path. Oh, maybe I shouldn't pack up and go. I have a good thing going. Why change it, right? And then again, for her to tell me that, and again, it was just like, dude, that's off character from you, man. Like that's not who you are. And that's where it kind of hit me. And then that's when then ironically the opportunity that I have now. And this might be a little bit of fate or a little bit of coincidences and whatnot opened up. And I remember I was pondering it for a month and a half. I'm like, because for me, like it felt like I was cheating. Like it felt like I was cheating on a significant other. Where I'm like, oh gosh, I'm interviewing with these guys.
That's loyalty. No, I get that, right? Because you want to be loyal, and that's a good quality to have. Doesn't mean you're a mercenary. Like some other people.
I was gonna say.
No, that's not bad, but yeah, you have to understand what's best for you as well, because you're not going to be able to continue to have that loyalty if it's just not a good fit between the two parties.
Well, and the issue was it was never reciprocated.
And well, then there's
that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but and then she's kind of like, you've done all of this and all of that, but like, look at where you're at. And I'm like, well, you know, one day I'll get this, and it's just like, no, that'll never happen. No, it's just like, for example, it's like the girl that friend zoned you, right? Where you're just like, maybe one day she'll realize how awesome I am, and no,
you're awesome at listening to her problems and then not putting it in her pants. So that's why she sticks with you.
She sticks with you and just that. But yeah, and I think that was kind of like the catalyst where like I sat there and I thought about stuff and I was just like thinking about it. I'm like, holy shit, holy fuck, I have been an autopilot for like the last couple of years and I need a good old cup of wake the fuck up.
Yep.
And I did. Fast forward a couple months and here I am, absolutely tired and sleep deprived, but hey,
I know that.
We're killing it.
Do you know where the problem for me is? It is to divide work and personal life, because at work when I'm in sponsorship negotiations for a football club, they are trying to save every single euro, and I'm trying to fleece them off every single euro. There's no place to be humble. You have a presentation ready. you have specific numbers, specific stadium attendance, specific TV numbers, data from what other sponsors benefited from the advertisement and stuff like that. Like, you have to be ready, and you can't play humble in a sponsorship negotiation. Like, you have to be ready, and you have to be that shark to have your presentation on point and
Yeah.
everything. And you have to be the dominant person in the meeting, because they want the sponsorship, but they want to pay for advertising in your stadium, on your jersey, on your training facility, or whatever. So I'm in the dominant position in pause. In that
He's on top.
negotiation.
He's a
Yeah.
power bottom.
No, and I am the one that has to take advantage of the situation, because I have to lead that negotiation, and if I don't do, I'm losing the club money actively, and I
Yeah.
can't do that, because if I do that, I will lose my job.
But
And
that's
then
the
the
business world, right? Like you do need a
exactly.
different approach on the business world.
No,
You do.
you absolutely have to, and that's and then the switch when I step into the car, arrive home, then to calm down again, to be the normal dude you guys see me here. Like, that is hard to calm down from that. That's why
You need the outlet, right?
have a nice dinner, drink a tea,
Back in the
calm down.
Back in the day, though, I mean, this is more English culture. You would just like go to the bar after work, have a pint, let it off your chest, go home. I mean, there's different outlets. For me, what I do, first thing I do when I get home, take the dogs out for a walk, get in the woods, clear the head.
Masturbate.
Because
Masturbate.
No, we discussed. I like to do that in the morning. That was the text message this morning.
Yeah,
Can't
that was
waste
the
a good
text
morning
message
wood.
this morning. Yeah, you got to stroke the wood.
So I'm off topic. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Fuck.
You're talking about walking the dogs.
When you get
Taking out the
home
dogs.
and walk the dogs.
Yeah, walk the dogs. Okay, so the point was, at the end of the day, nobody likes the work version of you. Your wife doesn't like your kids, your friends. What? Nobody. That version of you is an asshole. Put it away.
And neither do yourself. I don't like the work person I am, for example.
Yeah.
See, it's interesting that you say that, because for me, I tend to have issues with the opposite. Sometimes my quirky side comes out when I need to be serious. And that's kind of been like a detriment, because, like, for example, because I think, again, you guys have known me for a while, and like, for example, I always like to let loose and have fun, try to bring in a better environment, right? Where there's some times where, like, for example, I forget to turn that off. And then there's moments where I need to be serious, and I'm just like, and it's like,
I'm like that too. We like to joke.
yeah, and it's like we like to joke, and it's kind of interesting because I got some feedback from like a mentor, and he's like, dude, like, I know when it's 11:59 and the world's on fire and I need someone to save the world, you got this. But, like, there's times where, like, you're just way too goofy.
Now, see, that depends. Now you're in the business world. If you're talking about like first responders, paramedics, stuff like that, they need, like, their job is so stressful and dark that's like standard operating. You just like make fun of everything. It's the only way you survive.
and that's the thing for me. It's just like sometimes, like, I just don't read the audience, or, like, for example, I just get really goofier, like, because it's like, because from now being in a position where, you know, I oversee people, like, I'm responsible for other people, where it's just like I look at it and I understand it now from like an optics perspective, where it's like you know, have a team of 15 people and you see me cracking jokes and dicking around, and like, why the hell should I follow this guy? Because it just kind of gives that, like,
there's a dichotomy. There's definitely a dichotomy with that, right? Like, you're allowed to have fun and like put your people at ease, and then that gives you an approachability. But it's just being able to balance that as well. Like,
being too approachable, I think, would be bad, wouldn't it?
No, I don't look how I thought my, like, when I got into work life after university. How it was for me, I imagined myself as the captain of a football team, yeah. And you are in a position where you have to hold the team together. You have to hold your speeches and everything, keep the chemistry together, involve everybody, talk to everybody, so it feels like a team.
Yeah.
Though
the
that
team's a
is
family.
the job of a captain. The team is a family, right? But there's also time for within the team to have the jokes at everything. You can't
Mhm.
be serious and scream at each other the whole day, be
Yeah.
critical of each other. Like, it has to be a balance, and I agree it can be hard to find the balance. But I think the more experience you have, Dash, and for yourself, like in your position as well, like the more you do it, the longer you do it, the more you have a feeling for when to be that serious, cold motherfucker, and when you just can let your pants down and chill as well.
The
Yeah.
most important thing is to be yourself. If you're not being yourself, if you're artificially turning a switch on, like, oh, I can't be approachable at work because that's on a unprofessional.
I think that's
not
corny.
what a
Yeah,
job
I
does.
think that's corny.
You-
I think
yeah,
that's super
it's-
corny.
because that's not you, and your employees are gonna see that as like, why is this guy's just
Why is
being
this guy trying to be
like?
a
Have you had
douche?
those people? It's like, yeah, he's such a fucking asshole at work, but he's decent like outside of work. Have beers with them, but he fuck him at work, man. Don't be that guy. That's not okay.
I don't think that's ever happened to me on the professional scape. I think I think it's more so, oh yeah, super let loose and all that. But yeah, it's interesting because it's understanding the different dynamics of, like, for example, just the core of human interactions, organizational development, and the whole 9 yards.
But there's different approach, and here's really where it comes down to in leadership. Different people need different approaches. So somebody like me that does like to joke around a lot, I will joke around. Like if I have a boss
Yes.
that will like be happy, go like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, we're having a good time, but we'll still get the job done, and we'll joke as we're getting the job, and we're doing a better job because we're enjoying ourselves. Now there's some people, like one of the guys that works for me, he's like super serious, dark, whatever. Like I have to take it completely, and it's kind of a bummer on me, but that's me as the boss. I gotta like turn the switch off to like more serious.
But it is also knowing your team. You have to know who and what you are working
and you
with.
don't know your team unless you're approachable and they talk to you and you fucking get to know them.
And you communicate. And you communicate.
100%. So don't be an asshole to them from day one.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Moral of the story: don't be a dick to your employees.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's wrap on that. Don't be a dick.
That's
Speaking of which, I still need to pee.
Speaking of that, and I think because I think with this one,
you had that gracefully.
I know, gracefully. All right. Well, I mean, thanks everyone for tuning in for this week. This is 3 hours of two separate videos, by the way, people. We
haven't decided.
One.
We don't know. We might.
Do we want to roll 3 hours?
I don't know. I have to think. We've just rolled into it. I haven't thought yet.
I mean, we can cut it. I did. I did the benchmark.
The poor guy has to empty his bladder first, and then
and then I got to.
Yeah,
you want me
don't
to,
worry
now
about
I got to
it.
make
Don't
another
worry about
thumbnail.
it.
I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Outro.
Jesus,
it's the outro. It's the outro. Anyway.
If there's only one video, it's because that's what I wanted to do.
Because Dave's Blair. But on that note, everyone, thanks for tuning in this week for again, if this is one whole video, the Benfica plus the After Dark. If it's two separate, thanks for tuning in to the After Dark segment of this. We appreciate you guys. And again, any topics you want us to discuss, whether it's avionics, psychology, the whole shenanigans, employee, whatever, recognition, or can't say it without laughing. But anyways, everyone, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you this weekend for Empoli. Well, Dave. Well, I might be there because it's 6:30 in the morning. So
Be there.
On that note, we'll see you guys.
Night.